Max, do you happen to have the time on you or anything?
Yeah, I mean we are in different time zones, so I don't know how this would work, but it's 2:24 for me p.m.
Okay, okay. I just have no real way of track. Oh, got my watch on. Silly me. I forgot because I don't usually wear a watch. Let me just check. Oh, okay. That wasn't what I was expecting. It's it's time to play the music.
It's time to light the lights
It's time, perhaps, to meet the Muppets
on
on
the
the
brand
Muppet
new
Show
Muppets
tonight.
2026 show tonight.
Holy shit.
What the fuck, guys?
Hello. We're gonna skip the preamble. Welcome back to a Muppet Moment. I'm Will, that's Max. We have to we have
We
to
have
start
so
this
much to
off.
get into.
Can we start first of all with just a statement, just so people know where we're at? It's good.
Um, it's
I
good.
like it.
It's
It's
fucking
good. We
good.
like it.
I'm so happy with this special. As Will said, we are back with another episode of a Muppet Moment, and this could not have come at a better time. We for years, and everyone, Muppet fans, diehards, general public, whatever, everyone has been dying for a Muppet Show revival, and that is what we have gotten in 2026 to a degree.
It's oh my goodness. First of all, before we get into the actual special, just to preface anybody who got confused by the title and by our promotion, we are talking about the 2026 Muppet Show special, guest starring world famous superstar Sabrina Carpenter. That's oh my goodness. It's become all I can think about for the last couple of days. This is like we've had a couple days to sit on it, to sort of like stew with it, to vibe it, really, really dig on it. And then remember that feeling. It's been such a crazy road from the announcement to here. And I think before we get into the special, I want to talk a little bit about the announcement because
Mhm.
I have a really special experience with this announcement. Because for those of you who may have been following me for a while, there's been an agenda that I've been on that I refuse to let go of the fact that Sabrina Carpenter and Miss Piggy are incredibly similar, if not one and the same. And I had been dying on this hill for months and months and months. And then it was the first day of me being in New York for the Jim Henson birthday celebration this September just gone. And I was with my boyfriend Mikey, and it was our first like I had flown in the sort of like mid-afternoon. He'd flown in the later afternoon. We'd been traveling all day. We were absolutely exhausted, and we went out to a grocery store to pick up some supplies, and we were just absolutely wiped. And my phone starts to explode in my pocket, and I'm like, Jesus, the group chat's popping off for something. They're excited about something. Can't be anything major though. It was the first night of the whole big Muppet New York celebration where we found out that the Muppet Show was getting revived, and Sabrina Carpenter was the guest. I genuinely like Mikey didn't believe me at first when I said it. He was like, That's not like that can't be happening. It's too perfect. It can't actually be happening."
I
Oh
think it's
goodness.
especially because I don't know if you follow Will, he's really been pushing this fucking agenda for months and months and months leading up to this special. Not that I disagreed or anything, but I have never really consumed Sabrina Carpenter that much. Not that I thought that she was bad or anything. I just, not usually like the kind of music I typically listen to or like put on regularly. But Jesus Christ, this special has turned me into such a big Sabrina Carpenter fan. And I now understand fully what Will was pushing and like the whole idea that Piggy and Sabrina are one and the same. Yeah, I fully fucking get it. And speaking to the emotion about getting this special, I remember like in regards to Jim Henson weekend, I was at work ready. Like I was finishing that shift and I was going to the airport right after my shift to head over to New York. And like I was in the back of talking to like my coworkers, being like, guys, I'm so excited. New York weekend where it's literally all about Henson, all about the Muppets. I love the Muppets so much. And then as Will said, fucking nuke to my phone, fucking phone, boom, 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 boom. Uh I there was a lot going into this special where we didn't, we had heard more things got revealed as like the special kind of came to be. But at that initial moment when we were all kind of receiving that for the first time, I think the first bit of info we got on it was like Gaffer the cat's rebuild puppet being teased. And we're all just like, oh shit, oh shit. Like it didn't feel real because like the last time I had that feeling was like 2011. Genuinely, like when was the last time you looked at your phone and went, "Oh my god, new Muppets! Oh shit, new Muppets! This looks so good!" What?
It was such a it's so hard to put into words because we've kind of like obviously there have been Muppet projects over the last 10 years, but they've been incredibly sporadic. Been incredibly spread out. We've been kind of in a bit of a Muppet drought. And it's hard to, especially in that moment when it was like they're bringing back the Muppet Show in some capacity, and that's the guest. Your mind immediately goes to, God, I hope this is good. That was, I think, where we went to. We were like, oh my God, this is really exciting. I would love for it to be good. And then for a while it was radio silence, so we just had to sort of like live with the excitement of like a Muppet Show return. And then, as Max said, we started to get like drip fed extra bits of information. Because I think the first official drop was the Gaffer the Cat rebuild, then the George the Janitor rebuild, and it was like, oh, we're on the cusp of something.
This
Phew,
feeling
that
of like a
whole
Muppet renaissance has been kind of stewing amongst the community for a while now. And I think when people initially heard the show being announced, I think people were quick to jump on others to be like, okay, chill for a second. Like, we're all excited,
yeah.
but we got to make sure this thing is good. We got to, like, we can't, like, and not to disregard every Muppet project that's come out in the last like decade and a half, because there's been some good stuff in there. Like I love like
Yeah.
the Muppets Mayhem. Like there's
I
been
love
some
the
really good
mayhem.
stuff.
I love the
But
mayhem. The Haunted Mansion was pretty special to
yeah,
me.
loved
But then you
Haunted
get
Mansion.
and then you're
I
contrasted with like most of the Muppet content we've got in the last 10 years has been collabs. It was like that one science YouTube channel, and then it's
Rob
like
Lake Magic.
Rob Like Magic, the Game Awards and like Booking.com ads. And it's like we're a little bit starved for like good, consistent Muppet content. And
It felt very much like, yes, we have some good things here and there with like Haunted Mansion and Muppets Mayhem, but nothing that truly spoke to the like deep heart and passion and soul that the Muppets have always carried forward. I think that really was re-energized back in 2011 and like arguably 2014, where the Muppets really felt like they had kind of gotten back their stilo. They got back their whole vibe. And to kind of have these other projects still be pretty good, but not really capture that same heart that the Muppets have always had. I think that's what people were kind of really striving for. And to get a Muppet Show revival that takes it back to the original format and the classicness that people, the nostalgia that people really associate with the Muppets, I think that really sent like a different kind of shockwave. And when seeing things like George the Janitor and Gaffer the Cat and all of these background puppets and more obscure Muppets that like really like weren't prominent featured characters, seeing those really spoke to fans to be like, oh shit, they're pulling through the backlog of Muppets to be able to give us something that's like quality. And I think we all put a lot of excitement into this, and it just turned out very well, and I'm very happy about that.
but because I think the promotion for this show was like a bit understated until the last two.
Lackluster, Disney, come on.
Disney, you clearly didn't believe in this because you
Yeah,
didn't
y'all
say
need to
very much
promote
about it.
this.
90% of the promo was through like the Muppet 70 stuff and like the little like extra little sprinkles they were giving us. But I'll tell you what, when it was the last week of Muppet Show and it was like the last couple days of Piggy, the last couple of days of Muppet 70, and it was like the last couple days of Piggy Week, the meteorite that hit the Muppet stratosphere when in the same day, in the span of about an hour apart from each other, official confirmation and new voice like hard launch for Bean Bunny and Rizzo.
Oh
That
my
was a
God.
day and a half. It was such a an incredible and strange day because it was
That
like in one hand it was kind of the final nail in the coffin of like Steve Whitmire's legacy on these characters, which it's like I think it's normal to feel like a bit strange about that. But I think the response was proportional but fair. It was kind of like that genuine like bittersweetness. People were like, damn, these characters are really like out of their originator's hands. But then in the other hand, wow, what builds, what a voice, Bradley Freeman Jr., what versatility, what
oh
incredible
my god.
performance, even in just in two online videos that he brought to these two genuinely felt like he did the characters so much justice. And I think that was a real moment where we started to look at each other like this could be like really good. This
I
could be like
think
good.
Bradley Freeman Jr. is so damn talented. We're gonna probably mention him a lot
Oh,
throughout this podcast
absolutely. We're
episode.
getting back to Bradley. Don't think this is the end of the Bradley talk.
Because God damn is his range so big. He's able to do these characters so much justice with so much heart, so much soul in Rizzo and Bean. And I think, I think to Will's point about like the character kind of changing hands, I think there's always been this hesitancy with Disney to bring back Rizzo and Bean specifically because they were so associated with Steve that like it almost felt like this Disney faux pas or whatever, where they're kind of like, we're gonna keep our distance away from these guys for a little bit. Let's have Pepe kind of fill the
Yeah.
Rizzo role for as long as possible. So like it almost felt like they were dancing around glass to be like, ooh, I don't know, this can be a little controversial, which is like I think it's the most natural thing for puppets to transition to a new person as like different eras kind of happen, you know? We've had so many different eras of different performers taking on these roles. I personally was so fucking happy to see Rizzo and Bean finally recast with so much love, with so much heart. I've repeated that a bunch of times, but I truly mean it. Like it's like they could have. It would have been one thing to recast Rizzo and Bean with just like some rando and like half-ass the voice or whatever, but they fucking put in so much effort into this recast. Bradley Freeman Jr. deserves it so much, and I really feel like if we get a full show, like I hope they like promote him, give him like that pedestal to be one of like the main Muppet guys because that would just be fucking incredible. Like I think he offers so much and is going to give so much to this project.
It really is a testament to the characters and to the sort of original performances behind them that it took them 10 years for them to land on a suitable replacement. I think that says a lot personally, and I think that now they're getting a chance to like be present in the sort of Muppet zeitgeist again. Just that and this we're gonna eventually come round a lot of times in this episode to the idea of like the future of the Muppets. We're going to talk about hypotheticals for like a full season, a full multiple seasons, a lot in this because I think that's our end game. We want a lot more Muppets to come. But
Yes.
yeah, just like the little teasers we got, and then they kind of really ramped up promotion in the last 2 weeks. And to be honest, over the last couple of days, they've been going crazy on it. Kermit and
Yeah.
Piggy have appeared on like four news shows, two podcasts, a bunch of like
Every
online journalism segments.
every damn clip I've been seeing of them on the Muppet, like Sabrina Carpenter on the Muppet Show, has been going mega viral. It's been like crazy, hitting every corner. As much as I was frustrated at Disney not promoting it until like literally 2 weeks before the special drop, the response has been overwhelmingly positive and has been overwhelmingly emotional for me seeing people this fucking into the Muppets. Like, yes, this is all I wanted.
Because what I really like is like the Disney clips that they're putting out there are going viral as they should. But I think the thing that I like the most about this is that a lot of Muppet fan content is starting to really get like widely spread out there.
Yeah.
Like I've posted a few videos in the last couple of days about the Muppet Show, and they have like been doing pretty well. And I know this is the same for a lot of folks who some like have inconsistent numbers. Muppet Show content and talking about Muppets content has been doing really well online in the last couple of days following this. And I'm like I think we're going to get a lot more companies soon. I think we're going to have a lot more people getting heavily involved in the Muppets. We're gonna get
I
a lot
hope
more
so.
folks on like all areas of Muppet socials because I feel like because I'm gonna harken to something you said at the beginning because I can also attribute that to our buddy Sam, the artist formerly known as Muppet State of Mind. I think they're just Muppets Mind now.
Yeah, love you, Sam.
But Sam made a whole video about how they were not like not necessarily a huge Sabrina Carpenter fan, not a disliker, but like never really listened to her music. But after the Muppet Show, it's making Sabrina fans of Muppet fans. But something that I've been seeing a lot on Twitter because a lot of celebrity fan accounts reside on Twitter, a lot of Sabrina like Stan accounts and Sabrina update accounts have been posting and sharing Muppet clips, but some of them are just being like, I think I just love the Muppets now. It's that
I
perfect, beautiful synergy of it's been making Sabrina fans out of Muppet fans, which I always support because I love Sabrina, and it's making Muppet fans out of Sabrina fans.
I think that that really speaks to why Sabrina was such a good choice for the show. I think she has such a widespread appeal and such star power that I think she brought so nicely to this special. I totally agree with what Will's saying. I feel like I'm seeing so many people just be like, "Oh my God, I love the Muppets. I'm so happy the Muppets are back." I think in terms of like talking about, we're gonna again talk about it a lot throughout this episode, the future
Hmm.
of the Muppets and like the past, present, all of that stuff. I think kind of getting a project like this that feels so in line with the original Muppet Show, it feels very much like an episode pulled right out of the Muppet Show. But it has such a sense of heart that feels like the people at Muppet Studios, it feels like the people who are really taking the reins of the Muppets now have such a renewed sense of passion. They feel like I feel like they have a lot more creative control again. It feels like we're entering this like Muppet Renaissance era where more people are aware of the Muppets. You know, we have this special with Sabrina Carpenter where all these eyes are on the Muppets and all these people are becoming Muppet fans. And then you have this team of people that I think really put in so much love into this, more than any other Muppet project that we've seen in the last decade. That I really just feel confident. I feel excited. And I feel like the Muppet community, I feel like the Muppet just fans in general, Muppets are coming back into the zeitgeist. Like I'm putting all my fucking cards on the table. I'm putting all my eggs in the basket. Like I really fully believe that Muppets like are coming back culturally. People want the nostalgia. The world is horrible right now. Like people want joy and stuff that's about diverse communities loving each other. Like I fucking think the Muppets are exactly what the world not only needs right now, but I feel like we're on the cusp of something huge.
I made a little video about this at the start of the year. I really do feel like we're on for another 2011. I
Yes,
so
fully.
sincerely feel that we are about to enter like 15 years, weirdly, 15 years on from 2011, like spooky, but like
Spooky.
I
Jesus.
really feel like we are on for another 2011 because this isn't going to be this isn't just going to go away. People are
Dude,
going to be talking about this. Is going to be one of the most talked about things of the year, not even just by Muppet fans, because by Muppet fans, this is going to be the most talked about thing of the year. But
bro.
I think just in pop culture in general, this is
It's
making
huge.
waves.
It's
People are
been
talking about this. We're already seeing celebrities like we're probably gonna do like a quick fire at this at the end, like we did in our 2026 predictions video. We're probably gonna rattle off some more guests that we want to talk about. But in terms of we're entering an era where celebrities are asking to be on the
like,
Muppet Show
can
again.
I be on the Muppet Show, please?
And
Steph, let me in.
of all people, somebody who I personally believed would be a great guest, Rachel Ziegler is like
She's been
commenting on like
asking.
Muppet posts, being like, "I want in."
She's
Like
been in the comments of Muppet posts being like, Seth, let me the fuck in. I want to be on the
that's
Muppets.
the position in pop culture that we should be in. Celebrities wanting to be a part of the Muppets because that's how you know that they
I
deserve to be there. That's how you know
I think
when they're like,
Disney
I want to be a part of the Muppet Show because they are part of something bigger than I am. That's a keeper right there. That's a guest prospect.
I think Disney miss has always since acquiring the Muppets really misunderstood and not really appreciated how much cultural relevance the Muppets have, and how huge they are, and how much of a like a legacy acting troupe they are, in terms of like, it wasn't just a thing of the 70s of the Muppets being these the place where every celebrity wants to be seen, and like working with the Muppets is something of huge reverence. Like, I think Disney has fully underestimated how much people see them as like these things with so much legacy, and being involved with them is like such a huge thing. I think Disney also was not expecting, wrongly, was not expecting this huge of a response to this Muppet Show special. I think, they played it on like on a quote unquote safe side, which really is just underestimating the Muppets and how like culturally impactful they are. But I think this has been huge. I think this has been huge. And I think, in terms of like the feeling that we're having, 2011 had such a distinct feeling of, wow, we are in a new era of the Muppets. There's so much big, incredible things that are happening. Muppets are back. People are talking about them. People are like sharing Muppet stuff. It's like that has not happened with the following Muppet projects that have happened since the original run of like 2011, 2014. Like, yeah, they've had some successes here and there, but it's just been not the same. It hasn't captured audiences in the same way. But Sabrina Carpenter on the Muppet Show has captured people's attention, and it's captured people's like passion. The amount of fucking people, and like, granted, it's because I'm known as like the Muppet bartender in Seattle. However, the amount of fucking people who have come up to my bar in the last few days being like, Max, have you seen this special? It's so good. It's like, yes, yes. I haven't even talked about the Muppets with these specific people, but people just are watching it, and I'm so excited about it.
That's really beautiful. Like I was blessed enough to have enough friends. Like now that I've moved, I've got a lot more friends locally and a lot more people locally. I posted
Let's
a little bit about it.
go.
I had a whole watch party on the day that it dropped. I had a whole big gathering of people. We did like a themed food spread. Oh my goodness, I had so
And the
much
Muppets
fun putting that
acknowledged it.
together. We put in so much attention to detail. We did pizza risotto, we did Swedish meatballs. I even had like a little bowl of Werther's originals that were just for like Sattler and Waldorf's old man candy. Like
Love it.
it was so much fun putting that together, and then having a load of people around. Some of them I didn't know. Some of them were my friends of my flatmates, but folks who I knew loved the Muppets, and folks who I knew were like aware of the Muppets. The way that everybody just like came together, and like there were fits of laughter at the funny moments, and like genuine there was no point at which one of us wasn't like getting a little bit emotional. Like
Oh
the
my
thing that
God,
got the
yeah.
most of us was a particular musical number that I want to give its own segment to later. But I think you know the one that I'm talking about. Because I want to get into, because we've talked about like everything surrounding the special, all the cultural context behind it. I want to get into some nitty gritty specifics
Yeah.
about the special. I
We
got
gotta
some
get into
notes.
the
I
we
got
gotta get
some.
into the meat of this special fully, I would say. I will say, the last thing I want to talk about in regards to kind of the cultural stuff before the nitty gritty. Yeah, I was not shocked in terms of like, I love the Muppets and I think that they deserve this much like respect and love. But the amount of fucking people that have talked to me here in Seattle about this Muppets Show special, just kind of like, yeah, I like kind of walk around like in my Muppet shirts, and I like talk about the Muppets a lot. I have the Muppet tattoos and whatever. But it felt like people have just kind of like been talking about it without all of that. It felt like I literally walked into the bar and people were having a conversation about the new Muppet Show special without me even there. Like, I walked through the door and people were talking about that special at the bar. And if that doesn't prove like the impact of this to me, I don't know what does. Also, if this comes out before February 11th, come to Jude's Old Town in Seattle, Washington, Rainier Beach. We're having a Muppet Show party. Come through, watch the special with me.
But I'm gonna try to get it out in the next couple of days if I can. I'm gonna speed run editing this baby.
If we
Um,
can get it before the 11th, come to my bar and watch the Muppets with me.
fuck yeah. Okay, Oof. I've got a list of notes here of specific talking points that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I have
But
a shit ton of
um
notes.
oh my goodness. Okay, the first thing that I want to mention, because we kind of opened the podcast with this, but we're Muppet fans. Didn't know if you knew this about us. We're Muppet
Mm.
fans. And so I
Meh.
think naturally we come in with a built-in bit of leniency towards the Muppets, where like we will give even Muppet projects that aren't so good a little bit of grace. That's personally how I feel about Muppets Haunted Mansion. I think
Yeah.
it's flawed in a lot of regards, but A, it's the Muppets and I'll give it grace, and B, it's become very special and dear to me. It's not like peak, but I think it's good. I think it's fun and I like it, but I will accept criticism of it.
Yeah, I feel that.
This, because I knew we were going to go into this and we were gonna find ways to be nice to it regardless.
It's just
I
good.
can't find it. I can't find a damn thing that is like desperately wrong with it. The
I was
fact that
about to
it's
say,
genuinely good, that was a game changer. Absolute game changer.
I expected it to be like good. I didn't expect it to be this fucking good. I didn't expect it to be like peak Muppet Show episode type shit. Like this, goddamn. I was going into it positively, but I didn't expect it to blow my freaking socks off like it did, and it did do that.
I hoped it would be good. What we got was great. And that is more than we could have ever asked for.
And like to Will's point of like kind of having leniency towards things that we like I think there's been this attitude in the Muppet community and just like kind of in general about like it's a teetering act. It's a balance on like how much you want to criticize something, but then also like, hey, we need this thing to come out too because we want more of this thing. And it's always kind of this back and forth between like don't criticize this thing too much, but I that's what critical thinking is, but we need more of this, but I want to be able to consume media the like appropriately. It's always this fucking back and forth. And I was kind of preparing for that with this special in terms of like, oh my god, if I fucking criticize this, I'm gonna have all these people getting mad at me because like I'm criticizing the special, or if I don't criticize it, are people gonna be like, oh, what the fuck, you're just giving it such a pass because you're a huge Muppet fan? All of that, fucking disregard everything I just said because it was just good. There's been all the only discourse I've seen is just positive, and all of my criticisms are nitpicks because this special is fucking. I give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's phenomenal. I love it.
I hold a very big belief about media, but just about sort of like anything. It can be about media, it can be about a person. I truly believe that the sign that you love something is if you are willing to criticize it and willing to openly point out and discuss flaw in it, but
Critically think about shit.
still love it and still care about it. To be able to accept something for its faults, but not like just sort of like brush them aside, to me, that means you love something.
Like
And something
Jen's
that,
an idiot in the Dark Crystal, but I love the Dark Crystal.
oh, he's a little dumb, but that doesn't mean the movie's not good. And like, but you can criticize parts of it. Like there are parts of Labyrinth that we have criticized, and there are parts of Dark Crystal that we've criticized. There are parts of like so many pieces of Muppet media that we are willing to criticize. Something that irks me about a lot of fandom spaces is this lack of willingness to criticize. That
Mm-hmm.
personally, when I came into the Muppets sort of fandom, that was something that I wanted out right away. I didn't fully anticipate the length and breadth of the discourse, but
Yeah,
I enjoy an actual critical thinking discussion, and I think in a lot of fandom spaces it is absent. It means if you
yeah.
are critical of something, you are a hater and just like let people enjoy things, which is my least favorite phrase. But then if you like everything, you're seen as just like a poser. You're fully able to interact with media in your own way. But at a certain point, just can we put our thinking caps on? Much like Fozzie in this special. That's why I love discussing things with you in particular, Max, because you're somebody that I'm able to critically evaluate things with, and it doesn't feel like we're having just like a Muppet off. It feels like we have different opinions about things, but we're like talking about it in like a genuine, like constructive context. That's why I like
Absolutely.
chatting Muppets with you.
That's why I like doing this podcast because we can get hella political. We can get very like into like the nitty gritty of something, whether we disagree with it, whether we think it's stupid, whether we enjoy it. But I think to Will's point about all of this and all of the points we're making about like critical thinking, I like want to be clear that I like we are people who like critically think about things when we consume media. But I'm about to be positive as hell
Oh yeah,
throughout this.
baby. We're gonna
Bro,
be lasers
I'm
right
about to be
now.
dick riding this thing so fucking hard. Like,
Bouncing, bouncing, bouncing on it for 2 to 3 hours.
literally. Bro, it's so good. Like I
Oh my
literally did
God.
not expect. I was going into it expecting all this like fucking back and forth discourse was gonna be all this shit. It was just good and people are enjoying it. And I'm just getting to have wonderful conversations with everyone being like, dude, did you see the special? Yeah, wasn't it great? Fuck yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about why I think this worked. And I think the big one that I want to hearken to is something that I've been seeing in a lot of like critical reviews, like a lot of like journalist reviews from it, and like film critic reviews even who are rating this positively. And it's not that like they did something wildly radically new with the Muppets, because it turns out the way to make something really good and beautiful with the Muppets is just to do more Muppet Show. And I'm not somebody who is a big goer for just like nostalgia bait. I think you can fall into a pit really easily when you're just like, well, let's just do the thing that we did before. Because yes, they did something different with it, but the thing that made it work was that they really kind of like stuck to the Muppet Show formula. And a lot of these things that I'm about to get into now are why it worked for me. And number one on my list is the pacing. It's paced like a Muppet Show episode. It has the exact pace and structure and even length of a Muppet Show episode.
My my thing with that is that like you could fucking throw this in any like 1 through 5 seasons of the Muppet Show. Like this is like a season 3 episode. This shit is like seriously you could pull like the pacing of this was so on point to what the original Muppet Show was. And I've seen it like a little bit of criticism to that where I do agree I would have loved this special to be a lot longer. Like an hour long Sabrina Carpenter special would have been great. But I've seen some criticism with the length in terms of it, like, oh, it's supposed to be this big special. But the reason why it hit and resonated so hard is because it felt like I was back in that world, just fully back seated in the Muppet Theater, back watching an episode, like we just picked up where we left off in the best way possible. Not in a way where they're not innovating and they're not like doing new things with the Muppets, but that feeling of getting to return to a world where they're not tarnishing it and they're truly embracing it into the fullest of what it was, it's like a big, warm, cozy hug. And I feel so lucky we were able to get back into the Muppet Show world.
Absolutely. As you said, this has the energy and the vibe of a Muppet Show episode after they'd kind of really worked out their formula, like season 3 onwards, when they'd really like been like, okay, this is the structure of what we're up to here. This is how we're doing it. It really did just slide in perfectly in terms of vibes with other Muppet Show episodes because yes, it's got like a bit of polish and it's new puppets with new materials and it's new sets and it's new performers and there's new material, but I don't feel like any of the newness really was starkly like distracting. I think it's like some of the puppet builds are obviously notably different because it's not like where we're not working with 70s materials anymore. These guys aren't made out of like asbestos and lint. There's like industry standard for puppetry materials now, and it is gonna result in an increase in quality. And I think that that still doesn't take away from it. There's a modernness to it. Obviously, there's multiple like contemporary songs, like, and we're gonna get to the numbers. That's its whole other thing. The musical numbers are their own category here. But just the way that it was structured, because like I would have loved a big, extravagant hour-long special, but I think that it could have dragged on. I think we were at the risk of it dragging on, and having it just be a Muppet Show episode. That was the best tribute they could have possibly done.
it's like getting back to that original format. I think that's just what people have wanted. Like the whole general public that aren't even like diehard Muppet fans. People have just like I think where the Muppets have not been successful, and I've talked about this just with random fucking people talking like this in terms of talking about the Muppets, is that like when asking people why they think the Muppets haven't been successful or like relevant in the last few years, it's because every answer I get has been the same. It's just, oh man, can't we just get the Muppet Show again? Like, oh dude, I just want to see like the Muppets do the Muppets. That's how people phrase it. It's like I just want to see the Muppets do Muppets again. And I think doing a 30-minute special where the pacing is so on point to the original show, you feels like you just pull it right out of the original show, but with some like nice modern elements. Like I think doing this tribute in this fashion was the best way they could have gone about it. And also, like to everything you were talking about, like the modernness does not take away this special for me. I think like there were parts of me throughout that were like, I don't know, maybe 4K versus like a film camera, like out of here and there. But generally, I just felt so pleased seeing everything. Like I feel like the sets were so fantastical and so like a thing that I loved about the Muppet Show was they would make these gorgeous big sets for their musical numbers, for all of these like random sketches and everything. And what modern set building and modern practical effects have given us is that like 70s style fantastical Muppet set, but with so much more detail and depth and lighting that they can do to like add more like mood to it. And I think we'll like definitely talk about the puppet builds throughout here. But like there were a few that I was a little bothered by in terms of just like they looked a little like too stiff. I think that's been a criticism I've been seeing a lot is that people are like a lot of these puppets look very stiff. From my assumption, and I don't mean to like put words into the puppet builders or the puppeteers' mouths here, to me it kind of feels like these like I don't know maybe they're newer builds and they just haven't been able to like they haven't been worked into yet or something or like maybe the material they're using is a little stiffer. I don't know. There's a few that I thought were kind of stiff, but generally, I really liked how these puppets looked. Like, fuck, we got some really good puppet builds back. I think people are focusing more on the like the ones they don't like versus the amount more that we really got that were great.
If we're talking about the puppets, I'm gonna take a sidebar here because I was gonna save this for later. But I think if we're talking Muppets, I'd like to rattle off because I have watched this special, I think, about 25 times since it came
Yeah,
out.
I was about to say same.
I would, if you would like allow me, I'd like to rattle off some of the notable returning Muppets that featured in the background or featured like had small voice roles or featured in some way. Because
Yeah,
I
because
got
I
sick
have
of
some shit to say about some of these guys.
You are absolutely going to, and I'm so excited for it. Because there are some in here that I'm like, we're gonna get a max sidebar, and I'm very excited for it. Because
Fuck
top of the
yeah.
list is one that you've mentioned before a few times. We're gonna kick it off with Miss Mousy. That was an exciting return.
Hey, shout out! I didn't expect that. That was a random one, but shout out.
And like she's a cute new build. Like we
Right?
obviously saw the original Miss Mousy at the Momi last year, but like
So
she's
cute.
cute.
She's diva.
She transitions well to new Muppetry. One that I was pretty surprised by the return of was like seemingly new builds for Phenomena and the Snouts. Why
Yeah,
give me the background? My
that
boys.
I think there's a
My
lot
favorite
of the
lesbian and their weird bisexual friend.
literally my favorite polycule. Like
Literally.
holy shit. I think and not to like immediately cut you off. I just think that like a lot of the criticism I'm seeing towards this special is why didn't this Muppet get featured or like why isn't this person getting a line or more time? In a 30-minute thing that was tight and that really spoke to the original feeling of the show. Like, I understand we don't have confirmation of a full show yet. And, like, this hypothetically could be it. And that would be horrible. And, like, I would obviously not want that. But, like, I am maybe being a little naive here, but I am fully banking and thinking, like, we're getting a full show. So to me, with all of these characters like Menomina and like all of these like background characters that people are like, fuck, they needed lines. Like this, like these characters not getting lines being like a criticism of the show or something that the special did wrong. I disagree with because I personally think we are on the horizon of getting these characters to get their roles again. Um, and even if not, I'm very pleased with the special. So like I guess it just doesn't like that criticism does not impact for me in that same way.
I feel the same way. I think that they, as much as there is a worry right now that it's not going to get picked up, I really do feel like we're on the cusp of a full revival. And if not, we're definitely going to get some more out of these puppets for for other projects because there's no way they would commit this much to rebuilding so many iconic Muppets that it would just be for nothing, that they're just
Yeah,
destined to go back into a box. We are going to see more of Phenomena on this now, and I cannot wait for it. Oh, you know what?
Disney's
I'd love to
dumb, but
see.
not that fucking like stupid. But like
Oh
they'll do
no.
dumb shit financially, but they're like, oh, we spent all this money, we better use it.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because while I don't trust them incredibly, I trust the Muppet Studio, especially
Yes,
now after this, and I'm
absolutely.
excited to see more done with these guys. So we got Menamin on the Snouts. We got a new build for Dolores, the trombonist in the band, who
Shout
recently
out.
got a name. Good for her. She went so long without a name. She's got one now. Bless her
And
heart.
she was usurped by Lips for the
Mhm.
trumpet, and now she's a trombone player, but we love her dearly regardless.
Love seeing Lips in the band though. Love seeing a little bit more of a highlight on him now that he's like fully ingratiated himself into the Muppets thanks to Mayhem.
Fuck yeah.
Um, Mildred Huckstetter, that was a really great one return.
I love
Obviously,
Mildred.
obviously a new Nigel because somebody's got to be the orchestra, the conductor.
Dude, seeing a new Nigel puppet, like, I freaked out a little harder than I should have. Cause, like, I don't know, man. That's so, like,
That's an
of
OG.
course, it's like it's of course they're gonna bring back all of the like important main character Muppets, but there are so many Muppets that make the world feel lived in and feel like an actual theater, an actual Muppet troupe. Like if I looked into the pit and didn't see fucking Nigel, I would have been like, "Oh,
Where the
dude,
fuck is
really?"
Nigel?
I'm like, how the fuck are they conducting without Nigel? I like that is one of those small details that seems very small that like wouldn't impact, but genuinely did do something for me. Like I, if they didn't have Nigel, I would have been sad.
No, genuinely so special. Just like that little, there's little attention to detail. Like, because there's so many Muppets that were there that didn't really do anything except be in the background. Like, that's part of the Muppet Show is
That's what I
having
love about the Muppets is
puppets
that you just
doing
have
shit.
random fucking Muppets in the background doing shit.
Feels lived in. There was Nigel. There was Marvin Suggs and a couple of Muppaphones in there at different points, which went without getting smacked, which I am a big advocate for. We're gonna end
Yeah,
Muppaphone violence sooner rather than later. But they
I
let that wicked man back on the set, and
they let that fucking psychopath back.
this
There's a really funny moment to me in the
scumbag son
background.
of a bitch.
That fucking freak, him and Deadly were like I just him and Deadly were having a little conversation behind Piggy, and there's a part of me that just found that so silly. Where I'm like, why is Deadly talking to fucking Marvin Suggs? Like,
I
what
know Deadly
conversation could they
hate.
possibly have?
I know Deadly hates his ass. I know Deadly cannot stand his ass. My goodness. Oh my God. One that really caught me off guard and kind of got me very emotional. Robin. Did not expect to see
Robin,
Robin. Even for all of 2 seconds, one line. Robin.
dude, Robin, I getting to see him again, and like it's been so long. He didn't have any roles. He had one line in Muppets 2014 where he was just like, "I'll follow you, Rizzo," or whatever. And then like he had a small role in 2015. It has been over a decade since we have gotten Robin. And to see him even for one line, I was just so emotional. I'm like, look at his little looking guy. Look at him. I just God. And whoever's voicing Robin at the moment fucking killed it. I from that one line, I was like, that shit hits. That's wonderful.
I want them to start giving Robin musical numbers again. We need to generate more tears. We need to generate more Robin tears
I
to keep the lights on.
I also have people of Robin has been one of the main puppets that I've seen people criticize in terms of the new builds. I disagree. I really like how this new Robin looks. I feel like it's very in line with the original, and I like the kind of more oomph they gave him. Like
He's a lot darker than I'm used to for him.
he's like
I
a
don't know if
little
that's just
darker
me.
for sure, but like I like that they gave him a little more of like a a structure to him versus just being like a sock puppet, which is very cute, but I like that they gave him a little more foam in there.
I do like a bit more visual distinction from Robin and Kermit. That I do
Yeah.
enjoy. He's beating the Kermit son allegations. That's his nephew. There is other frog DNA in there.
Literally.
Hilda was a fun one. She got a little speaking role.
With the chickens.
With
Like
the
that was
chicken.
so cute.
It
That
was
was
such a
really,
cute
really cute.
moment. Oh, Hilda. Oh my God. Okay,
That made me so happy.
here's ones that didn't get a speaking role, but hit me like a truck. Making their like Muppet Show debut, Johnny Fiamma and Sal Minella. You
Oh,
could
shit.
you could have
Dude.
given me 100 guesses. I could never have guessed that they would bring back Johnny and Sal. I
Dude.
thought they were doomed to obscurity.
For
You got
me,
Muppets Tonight characters in a big budget, heavily promoted production of the Muppet Show.
dude, first of all, we need Clifford back. If this is happening with all this other Muppets Tonight shit, we need fucking Clifford back immediately. Like, goddamn. But two, I, you know, seeing Muppets Tonight characters, Johnny and Sal specifically, and then obviously Bean Bunny, even though Bean Bunny, I don't associate as much with Muppets Tonight. But these characters from a very specific era of Henson, where it's like Jim Henson very close to passing, then after his death, where you have like Muppets Tonight as like a 90s revival, and you have Bean Bunny being such a character of 90s Muppets. These things were very left in the past, and it feels like Disney did a very distinct move to separate themselves from Muppets Tonight, from 90s Muppets to a degree. Like, I feel like Johnny and Sal, if we get a full show, like to me, seeing Bean Bunny, Johnny and Sal walking around and stuff, dude, if we get a Muppet Show that's like this, that's like a tight 30, that feels classic and feels exactly like the original show, but we get Johnny and Sal and Bean and like Muppets Tonight characters that are really fun, I'm like, this could be fucking peak. This could be fully peak. Like, I'm sorry, like all of my like the funniest characters from the revival with the original format, like mwah, mwah.
It was like because I love seeing stuff from like the Brian Henson era like continue to get its flowers on Monday because there were like Muppets Tonight characters making their Muppet Show debut here because it was like obvious it was Johnny and Sal,
Bill the
Big Mean
Bubble
Carl,
Guy.
Big Mean Carl was back there. We had Bobo in, obviously Pepe, who had a great role in this by the way. I thought Pepe was brilliant in
Oh,
this.
dude, we'll get into it. This is one of my favorite Pepe appearances I think ever. Like genuinely.
Sincerely. But like having Muppets Tonight characters show up here, it's like, wow, they're really paying homage to just like the legacy of the Muppets. Because it's not just like it would be so easy for them to just stick to like the core, like famous Muppet cast. But we're getting obscure 70s and 80s, we're getting obscure 90s, 2000s Muppets in there. And it's like it genuinely felt like the amount of love and care into this is a good testament as to why it did so well. So
It would
obviously
have
Johnny
been
and Sal
so
were there.
fucking easy for Disney to just be like, let's just promote the T-shirt Muppets. Like, let's just get like Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy, Beaker, fucking Animal, Rizzo, and that's it. And that's the only ones we're gonna give a shit. But we're never gonna recast Rizzo. But that could have been really easy for them. But the fact that they went so hard for Muppets that fans actually would give a shit to see on screen, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, damn. And there's a bit that I've done in the past where it's like I posted this on my TikTok like years ago, where it's like me reacting to Marvel fans being like, "Oh, dude, these fucking Marvel fans, whenever they just see a random character from the comic books on screen, they freak out in the theaters." It's like, chill out, chill out. It's just some random fucking character. Oh, Captain, what's his face? Ugh. But then, like, I watched this new Muppet Show, and I'm like, oh my god, Gaffer the Cat, fucking Hilda. No way they put Hilda in this shit. No fucking way they put fucking Johnny and Sal in this.
It's no, I totally understand it. And you putting that into perspective has just kind of like rocked my brain a little bit because I'm like, damn, why are you freaking out about like Captain Awesome? Nobody cares. It's a comic book character. Get over it. Comic books aren't life. And then I'm like, no way is that the beautiful day monster. What does that mean?
Yo, they rebuilt Bill the Bubble Guy to just chill in the background? What the fuck?
Now I fully understand. I'm so just like Muppet brained. I've forgotten my own rot. I'm living in my own Muppet brain rot, but you know what? Don't take me out of it. I'm
Ah,
exactly where I want to be. Oh my
dude,
goodness. So obviously we talk about all of like the classic Muppet Show characters that revive. Let me just rattle some off. We got Zelda Rose, we have got Pops, we have got some Kuzbanians, we have got George and Beauregard, Wayne and Wanda, some of the rats, Chester, Yolanda, Bubba. We got Flying Zucchini Brothers, we got the Pigs in Space, we got the Mutations, we have got like Paul Revere the horse, Gaffer the cat. Like we've got
Baskerville the Hound very briefly in the intro.
we have just got a myriad of incredible like Muppet Show revival characters, and I've mentioned him, but a classic, a kind of obscure Muppet Show character who I think had like low key one of the best roles in this, the Beautiful Day Monster, with
Dude,
Maya Rudolph. That subplot caught me so off guard. I thought
yo,
it was going to be just like a little momentary thing. The Maya Rudolph dies subplot with featuring
dude,
the Beautiful Day Monster.
they could have
What a
picked any Muppet. They could have picked any. It could have been fucking Fozzie or Gonzo or whatever. To use Beautiful Day Monster, that was fucking perfect.
It was priceless. Just using how unique a design he is as well as part of it. Part of like classic Muppet humor to me is like what the performers did with the characters, like make them look funny and just like give them like funny mannerisms because they're like inanimate things, but they obviously get so much life put into them. Beautiful Day was kind of one of the stars of this for me, just because of
Yes,
that moment where he like kisses Maya on the hand and then like his eyebrows raise up and like the little moment where like she comes back from the dead and he's just there like with his mouth
dude.
wide open. Just the physicality of the Beautiful Day Monster and just like the kind of understated brilliance of that like comedic delivery and just his expression. That was such a highlight for me, and such a,
I
what a way to because you can have all the classic Muppet Show characters in the background that you want, but if you don't do anything with them, then it's just hollow like nostalgia. But having the Beautiful Day Monster, who like I guarantee you, there will be like almost everybody that I invited to like my watch party could not like tell me the name of that monster because nobody knows the name of that monster. It's just
unless
a
you're
funny Muppet.
diehard.
It's just a funny Muppet. You gotta be like really not normal like us. Um, but oh my God, giving Beautiful Day such a role like that, that was hilarious.
That
And he
was
kind of
fucking
stole it.
perfect. Like,
Legitimately, what a way to bring back a character.
dude, that was honestly like one that whole bit with Maya Rudolph in Beautiful Day Monster. I think a bad Muppets writer would have very easily taken just the route of, oh my God, this Muppet next to me looks so crazy. The whole bit, what like I think a lot of the general public, when you see that kind of Muppet and you see Maya Rudolph, I feel like you're kind of gearing up to just have like a very straightforward, like SNL style, like, okay, this guy looks pretty freaking crazy. But
He's
what
standing right behind me, isn't he?
the charm of the Muppets, the thing that I adored, and what the best Muppet Show guests did was fully treating the Muppets like real people, like treating them like these real creatures. And like Maya Rudolph, not only not being caught off guard by the Beautiful Day Monster, not only not fucking being weirded out or anything, just fully being like, oh, I'm turned on by the Beautiful Day
She
Monster. I am like, I want to fuck the Beautiful Day Monster. Like
she
her.
was that she wanted to fuck that Muppet. I'm sorry. She wanted Beautiful Day. She
Dude,
wanted him.
the way that she was talking about just like, I've met a lot of bad celebrities, but Kermit's not like that. Kermit really, he's wonderful. I'm like, oh shit, like Kermit, that fucking whole bit. I think throughout, like, I think a lot of people are gonna immediately point and just be like, dude, see, this is exactly why the Muppets, they're for everyone. They can do a sex joke, they can do all that. Like everyone's expecting the Muppets to just be for kids. And I do agree with that to like a pretty high degree. But I think the charm of the Muppets isn't just going like, oh, haha, Maya Rudolph in Beautiful Day made sex joke. It's the fucking long running bit of her slowly falling in love with Beautiful Day and then her dying and going to hell and Beautiful Day having to wrestle with all those emotions being fully conveyed through his silly little mouth, a silly giant mouth and eyebrows. Like, that's what's fucking funny with the Muppets.
If you'd have told me the day before this special drops that there is a subplot in the Muppet Show where like Maya Rudolph, I fucks a Muppet, dies, goes to hell, and comes back to life in a Muppet Show like Muppet News Flash, I would never have believed you. But
Dude.
that's something that I spoke to one of my friends. I spoke to weirdly Marty about this, my pal Marty. I was saying that I think one of the reasons why this is so special is because we are Muppet fans. We spend 90% of our time sitting around and thinking, God, we have such good ideas for the Muppets. What if this was what we did with the Muppets? What if this was in a Muppet Show special? What if the guest was this and there's this and this and this and this happened? The reason why this special worked is because the Muppet writers are smarter than us. The writers of this special came up with so many things that were genuinely brilliant that us as fans could have never conceived of.
I would never have thought they would have done that bit with Maya Rudolph and the Beautiful Day Monster. Like, I'll give it to this new batch of Muppet writers. They got it, man. They know
This
what they're doing.
writer's room, give yourselves a fucking pat on the back exponentially, expeditiously, because that was so, so special.
And
But
I think that we watched this special, like myself, Will, and a few of our friends. We watched this at like 3 in the morning Eastern time when this dropped.
8 in the morning GMT.
12 at night. We got kind of lucky with that. But everyone else was up at 3 a.m. And a thing Will said to me when we were watching this together, he was like, oh, dude, wouldn't it be so funny if they like acknowledge Seth Rogen like once and then never bring him up like again the entire special? And that's exactly what they fucking did. And dude, that was perfect. I was gearing up for the special being like, okay, how many bits is Seth going to be in? Like, how many things? Like, I think a lot of people, their hesitancy in regards to this special was they were like, oh my God, I don't want to just see Seth Rogen the whole time. But I thought the fucking bit they did with him was so great. Like, hey man, you're cut. And then he's just cut for the rest of it. And only comes back at the end to like make a meta joke about the fucking puppets. Like, that's perfect to me. Letting the Muppets shine. Like, using, like, yes, like what was great is that it felt so in line with the original while still doing all this new stuff. But you have Sabrina Carpenter as the main focus, as the guest of the special. And they promoted it being like Seth Rogen and Maya Rudolph's also going to be in this, but then they like barely are. Maya gets like a fun little subplot, and then Seth is cut immediately. Where you get a very well focused Muppet Show, where it felt like they were like, oh, we have all these people involved, like we'll just use them for the marketing, but like this shit's like a fucking Muppet Show, Muppet Show, Muppet Show episode, you know, like.
Yeah.
We're not making it the Seth show.
The thing that I really enjoyed about this, and I think I want this to be the next focal point that we dive in on, I want to talk about guests. Because obviously we've
Yes.
spoken about Maya Rudolph's role, and we're talking a bit about Seth Rogen's role.
We gotta
But
talk
I
about
think,
Sabrina.
oh, we're gonna get into Sabrina, but I think what I would just like to say in summary about the guests is the reason why. Because three guests in a Muppet Show episode, on paper, it's like there's no way that it's gonna work. But their roles were so well balanced, I think, and didn't take away the spotlight. The core of the Muppets has always been that the Muppets are the stars, and they allow human celebrities into their world. And you're like,
Yes.
you're a part of this. You are our guest here. We are the main deal. You are our special guest. We are here to take care of you. We will fail to do so. You will be injured, bodily harm will before you, mental harm will before you, but you are our guest because you wanted to be here. And I think the reason that the guest spots worked so well is because there was the exact right amount of them. This was wholly and entirely a Muppet special. They didn't need to cram the guests into every single act every single moment. There didn't always need to be like human celebrity. And like Maya Rudolph's really small role was absolutely perfect for like the in-between segments. Seth Rogen's role being like the executive producer and having his like face on it and everything, and like people being like, "Oh, this is just gonna be a whole Seth Rogen thing," and then he gets cut
So
and
good.
only shows up at the end to like complain in the audience. Can I just say though, another big highlight. One of the like laugh out loud funniest moments in this is Seth Rogen's final line, where he's like complaining about the armadillo and the tutu, and he's like,
He's like, that's not canon.
I never even seen that guy before." But also
Like,
just the little whatnot patting him on the shoulder
yeah,
next to him.
so good.
I
I want to make a quick aside as we're talking about that is that like I loved all of the random whatnots and random new puppet builds that were in the audience and in the background. Like, I think a big thing that people have been wanting out of the Muppet Troupe and the Muppet Studios and everything is like give the performers and give everyone the opportunity to make new characters and do new things. And seeing all of those in the background, I was like, oh, dude, if we get a full show, I need to see what that pink dragon looking motherfucker has to say. I need to see what fucking Christmas Carol Toad has to say to that
I
whatnot.
was gonna say I got Mrs. Dilber from Muppet Christmas Carol on my
Like what the
background
fuck is she
Muppets
doing
list.
there?
What are you doing here? They had like
Like,
one of the pigs from Christmas Carol in the Pigs and Wigs sketches. What?
yes,
Just them pulling out random characters from like the archives
I
to be like,
love it.
okay. Beverly Plume was in there as well, which like Diva, I'm glad you weren't on stage. Sorry. Um,
Yeah, dude, like
sorry,
I
sorry.
think you're so I agree with you so heavily in regards to like the Muppets being the focus and then the guests being the special guests and not taking away the focus. I think so much of the problem with modern Muppet projects in general is that like you can have the human in there. I'm not anti-human in a
Oh
Muppet
yeah,
project,
I'm
but it's
pro-human.
this idea that they are bringing something to the special that the Muppets need. That like I like Muppets Mayhem, but I found myself and I actually ended up enjoying Lily Singh's character by the end of it. But it low key felt like, yo, we need her to like do like it didn't feel like they trusted the Muppets fully to just exist on their own and like these characters coming in and these people coming in being like supporting the Muppets. This was like the first time in so fucking long where we got the guests on the special, guests in the Muppets being like, oh my God, this is my honor. Like, this is literally the biggest thing of my career to be here. This is my dream. You got any other dreams? Like, it's fucking like, I think that has been, I think we can agree that's been one of the biggest issues with the Muppets is treating them like they don't deserve like treating them like they have to be the special guest or they need something to bring that heart and that soul when the Muppets bring that themselves and like that is the honor to be a part of their world, not the opposite.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously those two smaller role guests, they kind of fulfill that perfectly. But obviously, an episode of The Muppet Show can hinge pretty heavily on the quality of the human special guest.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's too presumptuous to say that Sabrina Carpenter is one of the single greatest guest stars in any Muppet project, not just Muppet Show, but Muppets Tonight, Muppets Now, all of the movies, all of the like spin-off shows. Sabrina Carpenter is one of the single greatest guest features in Muppets lore, in all of the history of the Muppets. She was, and this is coming from a place of incredible bias because I love Sabrina, but my God, did she understand the assignment?
Yeah, I because here's the thing. I'm coming from a place of really not having been a Sabrina Carpenter fan, like really just didn't engage with like the shit she was doing. And so like for me with really no background onto who she is and like what kind of energy she's going to bring to something like this, I was fucking blown out of the water. Like I socks were blown clean off. And I think like what was so beautiful about Sabrina on this like it's not only did she understand the assignment on like what kind of energy she needed to bring to a Muppet project, but she fully fucking treated it like the big special thing that it is. And yes, they made so many jokes throughout about like, oh, I could have been getting a Pulitzer, I could have got my face on the corner. Like I chose to be here instead. I really think there was genuineness in that, though, of like, it really felt like she treated this like a Muppet Show guest of the 70s, like the best Muppet Show guest I can think of, like Liza Minnelli and Harry Belafonte and Steve Martin. And those episodes like strike so through to me, not because they're just like so talented and not just because they like bring the star power, but because they fucking fully get the Muppets and they fully get the honor that it is to be in that Muppet studio and to have a Muppet Show special where you're the guest. Like, I think Sabrina fully understood that. And for me, like, I think, there's like, I also think in terms of talking about the Muppets in this special, when people are criticizing this, and again, people have been like generally positive, but I think people are treating the Muppet Show like it was this perfect thing. When in reality, most people consume it through like best ofs. Like
Yeah.
SNL and the Muppet Show are very similar in that regard, where they're variety shows that people have tons of rose-colored glasses and nostalgia, where they view it through best of compilations and they forget all of the bad sketches, guests, and like songs that happen. And so I think the Muppets have suffered from that in the past, where people kind of hold it with like it is an incredible show that deserves all this reverence, but also there's a bunch of duds in there. And I really think if we're fucking comparing it to the entire 5 seasons of the Muppet Show, dude, I'll say it. This is a top 10 for me. This is
It's
a
all
top
immediately.
tenner.
Immediately. Because like not every episode can be a Bernadette Peters. Sometimes you gotta get a Sylvester Stallone. It's not that
Mhm.
not to not to be too critical, but
Sometimes you'll get a Liberace. Like, come on.
yes. But this felt really special because like there's a level that you gotta have with your guests because obviously we talk about Sabrina understanding that this is an honor for you, girly. This is this is
Hmm.
this is special for you. The Muppets, they've seen celebrities come and go. You're being part of something special right now. You can be on the Muppet Show and you can sit and be in awe about everything for half an hour, but that does not a good guest make. But
Yeah.
what she brought to her numbers was extraordinary because we talk about certain moments being like, oh, this was straight out of the 70s. The first indication that I was like, oh, this is like seriously good was Man-Child.
Yes. Yes. Dude, I never heard this song before the special. Like, truthfully, I had never fucking heard this.
Really?
Yeah, never in my life. And I am obsessed now. I'm fucking obsessed. And now I listen to the original song and I'm like, where are the Muppet Chickens? I don't like this version. Like, I want release the Muppet Chicken cut,
Okay,
please.
this is gonna be controversial for the Sabrina girlies, of which I am one of you. Man's Best Friend was my top album last year. I was in the top 3% of Sabrina Carpenter listeners in
God damn.
2025. Yeah, I got credentials. I'm serious about this. I'm ride or die for Sabrina. Man-Child is a song that took a bit of time to grow on me. I listened to it when it first dropped as a single. I love the album Man's Best Friend, but I don't know if Man-Child is in my top three songs from that album. It's a great song and I love it. It's a fun song and I love it. It's not in my top three for Man's Best Friend, but I think it's fun and I think a it's an incredible karaoke song. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know if I'm going to be stoned to death for saying this, but the version of Man-Child on the Muppet Show is low-key better than the album version.
Yeah, it's the best. I mean, I am not involved in the Sabrina Carpenter fan community, but I'm just gonna fully fucking say that it's the album version is not as good.
Muppet Show Man-Child is the best version of Man-Child, and that's
And
not
the
even just
Muppet
because there's a
Show,
chicken backing track.
dude, and that is so in line with how I feel about the original Muppet Show. That like the Elton John episode, all of those versions are the best versions of those Elton John songs. They're
Oh my
the
God,
best recorded.
his like version of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road with the mayhem
Dude,
clears. I'm
Crocodile
sorry, but it
Rock with the
clears.
crocodile backing is like literally man's best friend. I mean, I like man child. Again, I had never heard the song before going into it, but holy fucking shit. This felt the most like star power 70s Muppets. This was so fucking like Liza Minnelli coming into the Muppet Show. This was so like it's so not to just compare Sabrina to all these guests of the past or like the Muppet Show of the past, but god damn, I out of all parts of this special, I have rewatched the man-child clip over and over and over again because it feels the most pure Muppets in terms of everything. They have the Muppet chaos of fucking up all the frackles and all the chickens getting their like feathers blown off. It has like the beautiful singing and performance from an actually so talented performer. You have the incredible puppet work from all. It felt perfect. I have no criticisms with the man-child section. It is my favorite part of this special. And to Will's point, is the thing that really showed me like this is gonna be fucking good.
It's a legitimately flawless segment because like going into this, I my big fear was that it was going to be a Sabrina fest because I love Sabrina, but if she's like the main feature of this, then that's a worrying part of me. Because I knew she was going to do songs. My worry was that she was going to do two songs off the new album or one song off the new album and Espresso, and those were going to be the only numbers that she did. But
Yeah.
like naturally, I knew we were in for at least one Sabrina song. And I had low-key like predicted since the trailer dropped, like the initial teaser, and she like smashed a beer bottle over
Yeah.
the Freckles' head. I was like, I wonder if it's gonna be the never heard of self-care. Because there's another song that would warrant something like that. It's Nobody's Son when she goes, That boy is corrupt. And I wondered if it was gonna be Nobody's Son or Man-Child, but Loki, Man-Child was perfect for that sequence. But the thing that solidified to me that it was like a perfect number was that it was like a full set with like interactive Muppets and like a fully like decorated set, like really good costuming on Sabrina, and that it was like the song was being geared to the situation. Like she was
Dude,
calling the Freckles man children, and
the
it that's
my
that's something that I
frustration with modern Muppet things is that they don't commit to building the full set for the one thing. Like I guess this bar set with Sam Eagle and all the Frackles is going to be used once for the Sabrina Carpenter special. But that is the charm of the Muppets is that like effort into building a fully realized practical set to have all of these funny interactions. And it felt so cozy. Like that bar set, I loved it. It literally felt so like it's what I wish the bar in Muppets 2015 was like. You know, it felt like a real Muppets bar versus just like a bar in the it felt like a real bar, cute dive bar in the real world, but like so with the Muppet charm.
I want to go drinking at Sam Eagle's dive bar. I can't even lie to you. Like
Can
I
I
just
say I have one note about this? I have a lot to say about the fucking
I'm not
chicken
even
in
done with this
Sabrina.
number. I got more to talk about this
I have a
number.
shit ton to talk about with this number, but a thing I wanted to say, specifically in regards to the bar and Sam Eagle, because I love Sam as the bartender with the chickens. I think Sam interacting with the chickens is like an underrated pairing. Like they've done that in Muppets from Space when he was like leading the
Oh
fucking
my, I
like
was gonna say when
exercise
he's doing
course.
like jazzercise with the chickens.
Yeah, like I think they're so good together. And here's what I have written down. This is a gay bar. Sam is the old gay bartender that has been working there for 17 years. The chickens are lesbians trying to have a good time. The
So
Frackles
true.
are either a bunch of straight people that have wandered in off the streets and are causing a ruckus and need to be get kicked out by the adorable hot femme bartenders, whatever, server, whatever.
Waitress.
Or they're annoying ass gay men that are ruining these beautiful lesbians' time at the gay bar, and they're like, okay, we need to get them the fuck out. And I would say, yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
That is an incredible analysis.
Thank you.
That's oh my God, that's a perfect reading because like that's exactly where Sabrina would be. I'm sorry. That's
Like
that, where else would she be working in like
it
Muppet
didn't give
canon?
off like stingy dive bar. And like the way they were wearing their like trucker hats and like tank tops, it didn't feel like in a fucking like straight I'm gonna punch you fucking way. It felt like a gay guy wearing a tank top way, and a bunch of lesbians being like, calm down, chill out, fuck.
sorry to clock Mo Freckles T here, but like
Yeah,
I think you
literally.
just might have outed like half the
Gay ass
Freckles.
motherfucker, dude.
Oh my goodness me.
I want to say that this this specific scene of Sabrina Carpenter dancing with the chickens and doing the whole number with the chickens is my favorite part of this whole special. It
Really?
truly is. I just it's so it makes me so emotional, specifically in regards to the chickens, because to diva out about the chickens for a moment. One of the things that have always like made me so feel so much like so yeah, one of the things that has given me so much like power and so much like self-confidence and everything is the way the Muppets have taken characters like Piggy and the chickens and like really pushed them as like divas. These are divas that like literally they have no shame in themselves. They embrace themselves fully as what they are. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they're baddies. In the chickens are exactly that to me. Like they are these characters that have never had to explain themselves. I mean, they don't have the ability to with the fucking squawking, but like have never had the like never had to fucking explain. Like we are divas, we're icons. We do these dances and these singings, and we're treated as such because yeah, that's what we fucking are. And to have a real life fucking diva and Sabrina Carpenter, absolute baddie, fucking fully embracing the chickens as like, yep, I'm here with my fucking girls. These are my divas, and we're having our little bit. Like the specific scene where Sabrina kind of like breaks it down with the chickens, where they're all facing the camera, and it's like, I like my boys, and they just fucking like.
The
That's
official
my favorite
choreography for
scene
the
of the
song, by
whole
the way.
special.
She was doing the official choreography with the chick, and the chickens were doing their own version of the choreography. It's
Like
genuinely such
that
like a
fucking
special
moment
moment.
where Sabrina and the chickens are divaing out together, like that makes me so emotional. Like that was the best. And the chickens in their gingham, I have to say, the chickens in their little gingham,
And
like,
their little
it's
like kerchiefs.
adorable.
Oh my God. I just the entire theming of this segment was excellent. And using like I think it's fair to say like a deep cut series of characters as the Frackles. You could have
Yeah,
had any Muppets, but using Frackles specifically in such a well-decorated set with so many like puppets like going on like in the scene. It was like this is the 1970s. We are
dude,
watching the Muppet Show of the 1970s.
they could have used any goddamn puppets. They could have used even like more modern ones like Johnny and Sal or something. They could have used more modern. But the fact that they went to the roots with the Frackles, like, oh my god, seeing all these Frackles with new builds getting fucked up in the bar, like truly, like one of my favorite. It's like that is so pure Muppets. That's pure Muppet love and chaos and energy, and I love it.
But what's brilliant about it on an extra layer is that I think the Muppet Show episodes that have worked the best are the ones that incorporate like the style and the vibe of the guest and like incorporate it to Muppet stuff in a brilliant kind of synergy. And I think that's exactly what they did with Man-Child because not only was it a great Muppet sequence, but and you're not a big Sabrina fan, so you might not be as dialed into this, but it's also perfect for Sabrina because it's a running thing in her music videos, men get severely injured or get killed in like every major music video that she has done, including like it was even joked about in the video that she did for Tears. I don't know if you've listened to the full album, but the music video for Tears, um, like at the end of it, a guy just shows up, and because a guy hasn't been killed the whole music video, she's like, "Sorry, I gotta kill you." It's kind of like gotta do it. Like we did it in every other video, and just like kills a guy because a
Ah,
guy has got to die in like every Sabrina video. And so her like fucking up the freckles and like almost killing one with a dart, like it's keeping her vibe going. It's keeping her hot streak of like killing men going.
ah.
So not only is it perfect as like a Muppet Show sequence, but it incorporated Sabrina and her vibe as like her little country vibe that she's got going on with Man's Best Friend, but also like the music video convention of her causing bodily harm to men. It's like it's flawlessly executed. Genuinely not a single problem with it. And just having like another deep cut character as well, like he's not that deep cut, but like a little bit. Like Crazy Harry just doing something stupid, fucking with the
I want
fan.
to say one of my notes is just I love that Crazy Harry. They just cut to him for a second to have a little dance, just a
He's
little
just having
moment
a
where he's
little
just like a little dance. Like
boogie, like
they didn't need to
exactly,
do
because it's
that.
a great song. You know ball, Harry. Like,
It's like they
oh,
could have so easily just done, hey, here's Crazy Harry. He blows up the set. But the fact that they have like a little thing where he's like, okay, I'm gonna like diva out for a second. Like I'm just
He's
gonna
gonna
like
have a
vibe
little
out. This is a
dance,
good
and then he's gonna fuck
song.
around with the fan, and just like her having the chicken feather dress as well. Like they didn't need to
Ah,
do that. They could have ended it with all of the chickens just like being featherless. But now she's got they I did a
yeah.
whole dress for 10 seconds.
Ah,
That's the Muppet Show.
that
That's the
is
Muppet
pure
Show.
Muppets making practical, real things that are intricate and beautifully detailed, even if they're gonna have like that's adds like that's so part of the beauty to me that it's only gonna be used for a little bit. Like that's the effort. And bringing up Crazy Harry, I'm glad you brought him up because I'm gonna make this point with Pepe later, but I think that a thing I want to bring up with Harry is that there was an incredible amount of restraint with some of the characters that I
Hmm.
really appreciated. I think Harry, not that I dislike Harry, but it's been his running gag for decades where it's just like Harry comes, he blows shit up. That's the joke. But like I think this special would have felt a little too just like, okay, they're doing exactly everything. If fucking Pepe came in horny as fuck, and if fucking Harry came in immediately just blowing up the special, or they like get to the end and Harry comes in and is like, all right, boom, and then Sabrina gets like fucking blown up. The fact that they just have him like, it's like he has a job at the theater. He's operating the
Yeah,
thing, and he's
but he
just
still
dancing a
finds
little
a
bit.
way to be like a bastard about it and to cause like harm and damage, but in just like a interactive way that is like
Yes,
outside of his normal wheelhouse and kind of like adapting him so that he's not just got like his bit isn't just like blowing stuff up. His bit is now like breaking stuff in creative
yes.
ways. Just
It's
like
like
a subtle moment of brilliance. And again, the writer's room. We're gonna kiss your asses a
y'all
good
fucking
10 to
killed
15
that,
times more. The
and
writer's
like
room. You're brilliant.
in talking about restraint with these characters, like I loved that in the pigs and wigs sketch that they throw Pepe in, and Pepe literally just like they don't have him just immediately being like, "Okay, I'm your lover now." Like, hey, blah, blah, blah. They have him just kind of like confused and just kind of like, "Hey, I don't really know what's happening, bro. Like, they threw me in this fucking outfit. I'm chilling." Like they played Pepe so subtly and with so much just like chillness that's like the best I've liked Pepe in so long. Like that's like one of the most enjoyable Pepe experiences I've had.
I hate to say it, but it is like one of his best roles. I think because now we've glazed man-child sequence. I'm happy to move over to Pigs and Wigs because again, Pigs and Wigs is such like a straight out of the 70s segment. Such a just because it's like obviously it's contemporary because it's a Bridgerton parody,
Yeah.
but I feel like they did it in a way that wasn't super heavy-handed. If they called it Piggerton,
Yeah.
maybe a different vibe, but Pigs in Wigs is such a 70s name for a sketch. And then like it's definitely a Bridgerton parody because it's all Regency. And then like Miss Poogie's character. By the way, Miss Poogie coming back,
They brought Miss Poogie
unexpected.
back.
Miss Poogie's character being like Countess Piggerton. And again, this was such like a 70s like written joke of County Mayo upon sandwich. That's such like a Muppet Show like type joke. That's such like a Jim Henson, like Jerry Jewell type verbiage. It was so just like beautifully vintage. And then like this is okay. I have a list of little details that I noticed on like watch 10 to 15 and I'm gonna rattle them off at the end. So there's something about Pigs and Wigs that I'm not gonna talk about until the end. But there was a little detail in there that was beautiful to me. But it being a Bridgerton parody that wasn't super heavy-handed, and then the joke becoming that Pepe had to get thrown in there in the last minute, and like the
Yeah.
whole sketch gets fucked up and goes off script. And like
Here's the
Piggy's just like,
thing.
"Can we get a fucking grip, please?" And Pepe's like, "Hey man, good for you." Love is
Like
love.
like
Pepe loves love.
Scooter popping out from the pillar, just being like, "Yo, we fucked up. Like, we got to change this." Like, it felt so in line with the Muppets, where it's like just trying to hold this fucking thing together, and like Pepe doesn't, he didn't get prepped on the sketch. He's just like, "I'm fucking in here now, dude. I'm in here." And the thing I loved about Pigs and Wigs is that one, they populated the whole background with just like random pig puppets. I like the effort that was put in there. The costume work was phenomenal on all of them. Like I some of the best costuming they've done on a Muppet project. But like I also have not seen fucking Bridgerton. There's like been that whole thing just was fully hit for me, and it didn't like I didn't have to know that show for it to just be like, oh, this is like the funny
Yeah.
like oh secret lovers royal like whatever. I think that's such a format, like the pigs and wigs thing, I don't know if they should do it like a million times again, but like that's some shit that felt so in line with the original show while still being such like a modern take on it. I loved it. I thought
Hmm.
it was so good. I have again no real criticisms with Pigs and Wigs. I thought it was very well done.
I have one. And I feel like when I say it, you'll say that you have one criticism of Pigs and Wigs. You have a sketch populated by Muppet pigs, including one line where Piggy seemed to have a rivalry with a female pig
No,
off
you're right.
camera. Where the fuck was she?
Where's Annie Sue?
Where the fuck was Annie Sue?
Where's Annie Sue? We got Bill the fucking Bubble guy back, but we can't get Annie Sue. The fuck?
Did we get Bill the Bubble Guy back? I
He's
don't
in
remember
the
seeing.
background in the crowd shots. He's in the audience in like the very far corner.
I'm gonna dissect that because I don't remember seeing him. But
He's in there, I swear.
if he's there, I'm gonna
But
scream. But oh my
fucking
goodness, you couldn't get Annie
like,
Sue back. Are you serious?
I think
Bruh,
that could
where
have
is
been an
she?
opportunity. Like, we got Miss Poogie, but we didn't get fucking Annie Sue.
You low-key
Like,
got a pig that looks incredibly similar to the Muppets 2015's Denise.
boo, fuck Denise.
Okay, you can go hang out with Nico, Chula Vista Muppet, and hate Denise all you want. She didn't do a damn thing. She's a victim of the narrative, and I'll say it
That's
again.
true. That's true. She's the Ann Perkins of the story.
But
Or
like,
fucking Karen. That's a different show.
oh my god, I'm lost on the references. But like, you had a sketch. That's my only criticism. I know that you built like a billion million like classic Muppets again, so I understand if you were stretched thin, Muppet Studio. But please, for the two biggest Annie Sue fans in the whole wide world, could you swing an Annie Sue for episode two? Just a
Annie
crumb,
Sue.
just a smidgen. She doesn't even have to speak. As long as I know she's there and that she's okay. That's all I would like.
I don't have too much else to say about Pigs and Wigs. I just think it's like really fantastic. I think a lot of people have been saying the beverage thing to me so goddamn much. I have had three different people come into my bar and go, "Can I have the beverage?" Like the way fucking Piggy says it.
Good.
Like I I think it's so good. A part of this special that I really really want to fucking talk about is the rat infested streets, the streets that are filled with rats and a pigeon. We got a full fucking number from Rizzo the Rat in this. Like what? What?
What a
A
fucking
full
moment.
Rizzo number?
Holy shit, because we had been geared up for the fact that Rizzo was coming back. Rizzo like has a whole new build, a whole new performer. You're not gonna not do something with Rizzo. I expected Rizzo to get like maybe a few lines. What do you mean the Rizzo the Rat's like 15-year building up comeback is him doing a full-on cover of Blinding Lights by The Weeknd? What a
And
fucking
like
initiation ritual for Bradley Freeman Jr.
what I here's the thing. I enjoy this part of the special. When we all, I remember like the distinct moment when we were all on that like Discord call watching this like for the first time, and Kermit says "rat infested streets," and we all kind of looked at each other like, "What? Are you kidding?" And I did not expect. I thought like maybe a little sketch, as Will said, like a few lines here and there of Rizzo. Never in my fucking life did I think that in 2026 we'd get Rizzo singing a cover of fucking Blinding Lights by The Weeknd with Beauregard jamming out and like all the Muppets from Space Rats and like Yolanda as a prostitute. Like, what the fuck is happening?
That's a reading. I mean,
That is so what it is.
you're
That's so
probably
what it
not
is.
like incredibly far off, but like, damn, can't a woman just dress like a prostitute?
I'm not judging her. I'm not fucking judging her. She's making her bread. But Yolanda is night walking, clearly. Like fucking
Oh my
and
goodness.
that's where we're at. And I think honestly though, that whole thing with like Yolanda and like the kind of dirty streets with the rats and everything, that's so like the vibe that we need with the Muppet Show. That they're not overly sanitized and they're not overly, and not to say that the rat singing "Blinding Lights" was the super like fucking like oh my god they fucking did some crazy crazy shit. I think it's so in line with the Muppets and like that exact kind of vibe of like, not sanitizing them too much. But I do think that like I just liked it. I think it was silly. I don't know. I think Rizzo getting a full song was not expected in any capacity. And I'm still kind of processing the emotion of like, oh shit, not only is Rizzo back, but like getting a role that he's never ever even gotten. Like I don't remember a single time Rizzo fucking broke it down and did his own number besides like Muppets Tonight.
I was just so blown away by it because I remember like lives were changed when he dropped that. I've been trying to call. No,
I've
oh
been
my
on the
fucking god.
phone for way too long.
I genuinely cannot I cannot summarize to you the feelings that were felt in that moment, that beautiful, beautiful moment. The risening, he is risen, but like just that whole
Like,
number, the fact that it was like Beauregard doing his fun like physical comedy bit of him fucking with the lights, just
you
like
got a
all of
New
the
Zealand neon.
the New Zealand neon sign, but there was another sign on the other end that was for Pizza Rizzo, and I had to like frame by frame analyze the footage, but there was a Pizza Rizzo sign on the other end of the street. But like just the way that the whole street was laid out, the fucking choreography of the rats.
Oh,
Oh my God, just their little head bopping and then they're like up down bopping around like that's prime Muppet rat
I
bullshit.
love it.
Like that's just like prime, like Muppet Christmas Carol, just like gaggle of rats just fucking around,
Like
physical comedy.
gaggle of chickens, gaggle of rats, gaggle of penguins. Like just that
They're
makes
not
the
enough of them.
Muppets. Like that is like one of the most important things to the Muppets. It's like a gaggle of some silly animals just doing their antics and just kind of being very self-assured and very proud of themselves for those antics. Like my only real criticism with the blinding lights thing, it's two things. One, I'm not sure how this is gonna age in terms of like there's a lot of other songs like Man Child and the other one that was sung like those I think are gonna stay so like beautiful, emotionally impactful. There's a part of me that thinks like in 5 years am I gonna look at Rizzo singing Blinding Lights and be like, but that's not how I feel now. But two, my other thing I was gonna say about it is that like fucking the only other criticism I have is I wish there was like a line at the end where the after the rats like pose and they cross arms and they pose together. I wanted a thing where them walking off stage going like, yeah boys, we fucking did that, like, hey, we fucking look at us. But again, total nitpick, but that would have been nice.
I think it was like well paced. I think we got just as much out of it as we needed to. And I understand your worries about them using a very contemporary song for this, but I personally think that I'm gonna hold it in the same regard that I hold the Muppet Chickens cover of Forget You by CeeLo Green from 2011. We're
Yeah,
gonna look back at it and we're gonna be like, oh, isn't that cute? Remember how
yeah,
geeked we were about it back then? Isn't that cute? And
that's a good point.
that's how I think. Right now, I'm like, I can't fucking believe this. In 2030, I'm gonna be like, that was cute, wasn't it?
That was
Um,
pretty cute.
but the final thing that I want to say about this sequence was I think there was a level of it that was intentional, but it could be completely unintentional. But I think there was a Bradley Freeman Jr. Easter egg in this
Yeah,
sequence
the
by the fact
pigeon.
that there was a little pigeon on keys. Bradley Freeman Jr.'s like one of his big characters that he does a lot for social media is called the Pigeon. And it's a voice that's very different from Rizzo and Bean as well. So it's like he's got a lot of versatility in his voice. But seeing as that, like, obviously outside of his work on Sesame Street, the pigeon is one of his big characters, and there being a pigeon in like his big Muppet Show debut as Rizzo, it was like, wow, what a way to usher a new core puppeteer in.
I
What
feel
like
like
a beautiful initiation process.
I feel like that was totally intentional. And I also like Bradley Freeman Jr. fucking killed it in this. Like, what a fantastic performance. And I just love my last thing I want to say about this specific part of the special is the rats grabbing the pigeon at the end
Get
when
the
they're all
boy,
like
get the boy.
yeah, the cops are coming and they're like, oh shit, get the point, get the point. They're like,
Oh,
I love it, and I think like I I feel like we've talked about like the guests that were on here. We've talked about all the different a few of the different musical numbers. I think that we haven't talked about is the in between scenes of like Kermit trying to get the show running, Scooter, all of that. You know, there obviously, and I don't mean to immediately throw this hand into the podcast episode, but there's obviously so much discourse in regards to Kermit's voice and the portrayal of Kermit. I am just going to get on the record here and say that I thought it was fucking great. I really thought it was well done. I think Kermit specifically, the like way in which Kermit was being puppeteered, all of the expressions and all of the like emotional moments that needed like specific Kermit, yeah, just Kermit was expressed very well. And I found myself like not, yeah, I've never, I don't think I've ever really been that bothered by Matt Vogel in the sense, but like I really think that he has never been given the opportunity to be able to like truly be Kermit and get this like platform to be Kermit. And for me, I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it, and there's not a part of me that is walking out of this special annoyed, frustrated, or even critical in regards to Kermit in this. I think Kermit was fucking great in this special.
I was gonna save this to be our last talking point, but since we're here, we're gonna talk about Kermit the Frog. Because I got things to say. And my sentiment is very similar to Max's. I thought the in-between segments, in-between sketches, where obviously, because Kermit has to be like the guiding force for this, he's the host. Kermit and Scooter's dynamic in this was such like a breath of fresh air. It's been so long since we've had like that gopher and boss dynamic between Kermit and Scooter, in my opinion. It was just so refreshing. They just felt like slipped into it so naturally. David Rudman has really sunk into Scooter. I love how much there was for Scooter to do in this, which obviously it makes sense. He's the gopher. I love how much Scooter there was in this. Shout out to Michaela, you earned this one. But
McMups.
shout out Michaela McMups. But obviously we have to talk about Kermit because it's such a hot button issue in terms of this. Matt Vogel has been handed the role of Kermit and has had it now in his 11th year. In that time, in terms of mainline Muppet projects and big Muppet projects, Kermit has not been the main character in anything. Muppets Now, it was Scooter. Muppets Haunted Mansion, it was Gonzo with Pepe as a co-lead. Mayhem, Kermit wasn't even there, didn't even
Yeah,
show up. He got one name drop in the last episode, but it's like where where was his chance to show that he's got the characterization down? Because all we've really had to go off are stuff for social media and like heavily scripted press junkets and things like that, which I think a lot of people's concern about Kermit, because obviously a big talked about thing with Kermit is the voice, which at this point I'm gonna say is either here nor there. It is neither here nor there. It's a voice that has fluctuated a little bit during Matt's course of him doing Kermit. I'm gonna say that he's kind of peaked with this now. I think this was the best like
yeah,
he's ever done vocally. But at this point, you're either gonna like the voice or you're not. It took me a moment to come around on it because I'm somebody who is like over in the last couple of years rediscovering the Muppets and rediscovering like the new climate of the Muppets. So it took me a hot minute. But my thing was that like he didn't feel like Kermit for a hot minute. In this, I feel like he's joined the ranks.
yes.
I feel like he's solidified his position as
Dude,
Kermit the Frog.
there's not a part of me that walked away from the special and thought, that's not Kermit. That fully felt like Kermit. And I'll give Matt his flowers here that I really think that emotion that I have, because I'm still so damn emotional about this special. I'm literally sitting here getting chills, goosebumps, thinking about watching Kermit sing that duet with Sabrina, even if the ending did feel a little forced, and we'll get into that. But like I just the heart that Kermit that has been lacking with Kermit. It has been the biggest criticism in regards to this new era of the Muppets. I felt that heart fully, and I felt that every person involved in this special put everything into it. And again, I've repeated this maybe 3 times now, but there's not a part of me that has exited this special feeling anything but like joy. And like in regards to Kermit specifically, I feel so just like that there was the heart and soul that people often attribute to not being in the modern Muppet projects. I felt it fully. I fully felt that heart and soul.
There is obviously a lot of talk about the idea of the heart and soul of the Muppets, which I think a lot of it I know where I have stood on it, and I think that there has been a certain amount of soul of the Muppets that has been absent in a lot of Muppet projects as of late. And kind of in a decent chunk of Disney's take on the Muppets, I feel like sometimes they can take for granted the sort of icon status of these characters and think, oh, we just have to like make them say things and people will go crazy for it. There's got to be a certain way that you go about them. And I feel like Kermit was treated with a lot of respect in this special. I feel comfortable now with the hands that he's in. It
Yeah,
took me maybe longer than it should have. Maybe I should have come around sooner. I think that I took it at my pace, and I don't think you can tell anybody that they're not taking it at an appropriate pace because everybody is entitled to their opinion about things. Because like and you can still sit on either end of the fence about this.
yeah,
But at the position that I'm in now, after this special, he solidified his place in the ranks of the frog, in my
yeah.
opinion.
I'm right there with you.
I think vocally he did the best he's ever done. I think character-wise, he's shown us that he can be Kermit. It's now on him to keep it going.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any performer is out of the woods. You can turn in a good performance, but you gotta keep going. And that's not just
That's
for
the
Muppet
thing.
performers. You can be a good actor in one thing and then be like I'm gonna make a little bit of a comparison here to an actress who I know is really talented and I get a little bit excited when I hear she's involved in something, but she's been really good in one thing and she needs to fire her agent because she picks her projects poorly, but it's Jenna Ortega was really good in the movie X, and I know that she's a good actress. But then she keeps being in like Beetlejuice, and like Death of a Unicorn, and it's like and like Wednesday, and it's like you pick your projects so in such a way that really prevents us from seeing any of your range that we know that you have. Give us another X. This was Matt Vogel's X, if that makes any sense.
I think
I just don't want another like Death of a Unicorn. This could be
I
a
think with
completely obscure like line of comparison, but like the girls that get it type thing.
I think with Matt that like really I agree with you that I don't want to jump the gun. I think it's a hard thing because you don't want to be a dick to this person. You don't want to be like an asshole being like you need to prove yourself over and over as Kermit when he hasn't really been super given the opportunity. I think where I sit with it now is like I think he fucking killed it in this special. I am very excited to see what he can do with this character in the future. I think that while it has taken me quite a long time in terms of like feeling like secure as his role and his role in being the like fucking being Kermit, which is like a huge thing. I really do think that like we need to see more. I'm very
Mm.
supportive and hopeful, and I'm cheering him on for this. Like if we do get more Muppet projects, I really just like I'm at this position where I think he killed it and did a great job, but I need more. I need more. And we can't just let this be the only deciding like factor in terms of like that role. Ugh.
The official Muppet Moment position, because we've been very beat around the bush about it. The official Muppet Moment position that we're taking on Matt Vogel is that is Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
And now he's got to continue being Kermit the Frog.
You gotta keep being the frog, buddy. That's part
It's a
of it.
heavy albatross to bear being like portraying one of the most iconic fictional characters. It's like
Yeah.
choosing voice actors for Mickey Mouse or for like Sonic the Hedgehog or like even for like Super Mario who's undergone a voice
Dude,
actor change recently. It's kind of polarizing. I
I
love
would
Kevin
say
O'Gani's Mario.
I would say Kermit's the most like important. Like out of any character, I have never seen this much discourse about someone's voice. And like I like there's been so many eras of different characters and different things voiced by each other, but I feel like in every other franchise, it's like it's treated like, oh, this is this guy who was the voice actor for the 40s, and then this guy who was the 70s, and it's treated like each person gets like that reverence. But Muppets, it's so like Kermit is strikes with so much emotion and is so important to so many people that I feel like you look at reviews for Christmas Carol and people are critical of Steve Whitmire's voice back in the day. Like people, there's never, I think Kermit is one of those things where you're never going to please everybody and you're never going to, like, there's always going to be someone who has a problem. And I think we are in an era now where I can confidently say that like Kermit is in good hands, and I'm very hopeful for what we can get out of that. And I really think that we are on the cusp of something really, really great with Kermit and the entire Muppet Studios crew who have been working on this.
I think now is the time, now that we've had this beautiful special out, I think now is the time to try and put unproductive discourse to bed. Because I mean, everybody's gonna have their opinion about it, and like, it's just not to get. Let's just not let it get ugly.
Yeah,
Pretty please. In the words of Sabrina Carpenter, please, please, please.
like let's critically think about shit. Let's engage and like criticize things, but like I hope in this era of Muppets we just get joy and community in which people are like you can be critical, but we're not just being fucking crazy about this. And
Yeah.
I
Well, let's have a
really think
discussion about it and not a screaming match, you know?
yeah, exactly. And I think we all, as like Muppet fans, are going to benefit so much from hopefully new Muppet stuff in the future. Where, because like the discourse surrounding the special, generally, I have just seen positivity in terms of like everyone's just, yeah, people have things here and there that they don't love as much. But I think generally people are just very fucking happy and excited to talk about new Muppet things. And
But
like,
even
dude, in
yeah.
regards to like Kermit, like we spent this a bunch of this time talking about like Matt Vogel and like Kermit and the legacy and all of that stuff. But just like those scenes of Kermit and Scooter together, or Kermit and Piggy interacting in the backstage, or even the intro with Rolf and Kermit, like that is pure fucking Muppets. And like there wasn't a single bone in my body that was watching that focused on who is fucking puppeteering or voicing where I'm just so engulfed and so brought into that world that I just, yeah, I felt like all the heart was there. And same thing with the laugh track. It's like I didn't really even notice the laugh track throughout. It wasn't something that really like bothered me because it's like when you have that much pure Muppet heart, I feel like a lot of those things fade into the background. That's something that I would normally be more like annoyed about.
I've seen people who have really like overwhelmingly positive things to say about this special. I've seen people hate the laugh track.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
been
know
the
what it is, but
biggest
they
like people
fucking
fucking don't
hate
like
it.
the laugh track.
Oh my goodness. I'll throw my hands up and say I am endeared by it.
I'm
I
endeared.
liked it.
Same.
I liked it. I thought it
I
was
like the laugh
cute. I thought
track.
it was fun. I thought it was very Muppet Show. I think a lot of the issue that people are taking with it is that it's a stock Disney laugh track. Some
Yes.
people recognized it from like Disney Channel like sitcoms,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I wasn't raised on that, so I didn't have that
Dude,
like ping in the back of my head being like, oh, that's familiar. I thought it was cute. I am endeared by it. It
bro,
was very Muppet Show.
I'm endeared fully by it. I think that even in Muppets Tonight and shit, there are moments where I was like, yo, this could have used the laugh track. And I'm never that person. I am never that person who calls for a laugh track when there shouldn't be. But Muppets, dude, it works with the laugh track. And also, because there's the assumption that there's a live audience, like a theater of Muppets and humans watching this thing, I'm not bothered when there is laughter because in my head, it just, the neurons fire to be like, those are the people who are watching the show who are laughing.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
like SNL doesn't use a laugh track, like they use like a live studio audience, but I'm not bothered by how much there's laughter in the thing because
Yeah.
I know there's the audience there, and the Muppets are trying to do that with the whole variety show shit.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I think I really like worked about like reviving this format is because like there was the like the laugh tracks and just like the in-between segments. One of my favorite things about the in-between segments is something that I think has been missing from Muppet stuff for like a minute. And it's the little in-betweens at like Kermit's desk where he's like talking to whoever or Scooter's talking to Piggy and there's just shit going on in the background.
Just
Puppeteers are doing their own stories with puppets interacting with each other in the background. And I have a list of, again, some highlights that I want to do like a rapid list of highlights at the end, but there were a few little mini storylines that I was picking up on like my third or fourth watch through. I spent my entire time in like the in-between segments looking at the Muppets in the back and seeing what they were up to because it made it feel lively and it made it feel Muppet Show. They're just like
Yes.
little touches where it's like, oh, you got it. Oh, you knew what you were making and you made it.
Like
I
that
just thought
is
that was so classic.
a point that we've driven home in other episodes of this podcast is that a core aspect of making the Muppets show like feel the heart that you want out of it is the feeling of the world being lived in. The feeling like you walk around the Muppet Show set and there's just all this shit going on in the backgrounds that Kermit is not aware of. That like just it feel like the Muppet Show would feel so like just cold and empty if there was no Muppets activity going on. A thought I had even when watching the intro with Kermit and Rolf, a part of me was like, oh man, the set looks pretty like bare and the set looks very kind of like drab. But then once you get all the other puppets in there, it's like, oh, no, it doesn't. It's just like the Muppets require that kind of like liveliness to like, and that's a thing that I really enjoy about the Muppets, and it feels like they gave the opportunity to the puppeteers again to be like, yo, grab whoever and just fucking throw them in there. Like that's how we got, like the guy with the fucking like, I've been burned before. Like I feel like that guy could have just been any Muppet, but they were just like, yo, we fucking have random background Muppets. Do whatever, bro. Do
I was
whatever.
gonna I was gonna move on, but I want to talk about that guy for a minute because he has become so incredibly important to me. I was like, wow, what a creative new design for a Muppet. What a like a fun new design. I love when there's new Muppet designs. He's not new.
Dude,
He
when that
showed
was
up.
pointed out to me, I was fucking shocked. I
He
thought he was
was
new.
he showed up once before in the Prince episode of Muppets Tonight, and his name at that point in time was Cynthia Rose. And now there have been whispers, like, does he have a name? I think on IMDb he's officially listed as Satay,
Sick.
which is, but what this Muppet and his existence and his presence in the show indicates to us is that we could quite possibly have our first instance of a canonically transmasked Muppet.
Let's fucking go.
What I'm fucking
We're so
saying, what I'm
back.
fucking saying.
Muppet Show is
Congratulations,
fucking
King.
back.
Congratulations, King. I hope that the Muppet Workshop paid for your top surgery because my goodness, you
Yes.
deserve it for
I hope
coming back
Kermit
to
is
this
giving
show.
you guys good health care.
Oh, I know
I
he is. I
I
just
love
That's so funny to me. Like your only appearance was either he was doing drag for the Cynthia Rose number or that's a transgender Muppet.
or amazing trans mask Muppet that we support fully on the Muppet Moment podcast. Like,
Absolutely. The only negative thing about this is if Satay is transmask, then we've just dead named him a good 4 or 5 times.
oh, I'm sorry, Sate.
Fuck!
Fuck.
Oh, sorry, King.
I
Oh,
can't tell what Sate or whatever their name is, their exact role is in the background. Not that they needed to have that explained, but something I really liked about this special in regards to just like the random Muppets that are popping in is it seems like Muppet Theater has been staffed finally. I've always kind of wondered, like, is there like are Kermit paying for a fucking staff? Dude, a fucking random Muppet brings Statler and Waldorf tomatoes to throw. And I'm like, is he fucking employed by the theater? Is Crazy Harry like not just a guy who is he like a dude who does tech in the show? Like,
there
what
is
the
a con
fuck?
there is a concession stand that provides like fresh produce to throw if you if you feel so inclined. What like I just love how like fleshed out the Muppet Theater feels because it's like yeah, they're on a payroll. Like
Yeah.
Pops was there like at the reception, like asleep. Like damn, has he been there this whole time? It just like yeah, it just felt very like lived in and populated. And
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, like he kind of stole the show, Satay, with his little "I've been burned before." We
I've
quote
been
that all the
burned
fucking time
before.
at the flat now. Me and my flatmates quote that shit all the time. He got one of the biggest laughs at our watch party. It was just like, I'm obsessed with him. I want to know more about him. I want to
Dude,
see him more. I want him to come back. Come
him,
on, Satay.
dude, him and so many of the puppets in the audience, where yes, we learned that he was in the Prince episode, but like so many of these look so new and so like it feels like, oh my God, give us a fucking full show so I can see all of these puppets have their time to shine. I want new Muppets. Like, yes, getting to see all of these Muppets from the past come back. Huge, amazing, love it. But like all of these new guys or people that like Satay that like really had like a fucking small role and it's coming back, like give me that shit now.
I would like to talk about something that interested me massively.
Spit.
So do you remember when the trailer dropped? And like I think this was a conversation that a lot of people were having on like Muppet Gram in particular. There was a shot from the arches and from like the bit of the Muppets intro where the girls come in and do like it's time to play the music. There's a female whatnot in there.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, who is this diva? Who is she? What's she doing here? Is she a new character? Are we debuting new characters here? Do you remember when people were like being like, oh my God, who's the female whatnot? Who's the female whatnot?
Yeah.
Where did she come from?
Absolutely.
She's not new. I went back and watched some classic Muppet Show yesterday. She was in the original.
What the fuck?
There was
Really?
a female whatnot with that exact hair and outfit in the Arches and in the It's Time to Play the Music. They just remade a one-off Muppet from the intro just for accuracy's sake.
Dude,
You're
that's
lying to
actually
me.
insane. I did not fucking think that she was like part of the original show in that capacity. That's nuts.
I didn't either until completely by accident yesterday I stumbled upon her. I was like, oh my God, that's Girly from the Muppet Show. But like the new one, but like the old one. She's always been here. She's not got a name as far as I'm aware of. I will probably get made aware of her name and her whole backstory at some point by somebody who knows a lot more about this than me. But
Ah,
Girly's always been here. They just brought she is in the same category as Zelda Rose, where they brought her back just to have her back in the arches like she was in the old days.
dude, that's the attention to detail of this special that fucking hits for me. Where it's like they could have thrown in any random Muppet into the arches for the
They could
intro.
have put
But
Beverly Plume there. Why
yeah,
not? But no, they
literally,
brought
but
back Girly who had nothing to say.
they throw in a Muppet that was there that even the most diehard Muppet fans could not figure out who the fuck it was. And it's like I'm very impressed by that. And like it's stuff like that that really speaks to the effort that this fucking the whole production put into this. Like amazing.
So obviously when we're talking about like all of these classic elements of the Muppet Show that we're adapting, obviously you've got like the intro and the fanfare and stuff and the bobbing around puppets, it's time to play the music. And you've got Statler and Waldorf and you've got like the curtain in the background and the backstage. You're incorporating all of these classic elements, but then it's like you've got the classic sketches of the Muppet Show. And it's like we're doing this in episode format, so we're not doing it going into this, I thought it was going to be like an hour-long special, but they kept it to the pacing of a Muppet Show episode, which, as much as I would have loved more Muppets content, I do think was smarter.
Yeah, we discussed earlier that like we like the tight 30 minute feels like you're jumping back into the Muppet Show. I really enjoyed that. And like I am excited to hear Will's take on the whole Muppet Lab segment of this because we got some
Ooh.
incredible classic sketches back. In terms of people wanted, a lot of like the small criticisms or nitpicks I've seen from the special is that people are like, they didn't do all these old things. I think this special would have like really grated on you if you just got every single old Muppet Show special. Like get like Pigs and Wigs, that's like a new style thing that's like throwback with the classic but with like new elements. And then like throwback with Muppet Labs. Because like, dude, if they just like fucking did the same thing the entire time, like the exact same run of sketches, this thing would have just like been nostalgia bait, and I don't think people would have really like. I think it would have grated on people a little bit.
Yeah, I think there needed to be a blend of the old and the new because while like the numbers like Manchild and Blinding Lights were very much like vibe-wise in keeping with like Muppet Show formats in that they had like the full like background and everything and there was like a full cast of Muppets and like the human celebrity guest. Well, I think those were reminiscent of. I think this would have been really tedious and really exhausting if it was just a long string of just reviving all of the classic sketches. But then when it comes to like we're fitting this in a tight 30 minutes, what do we choose to be like the one main thing that we adapt? Because it's like we could have gone for Fozzie stand-up, We could have had Swedish Chef. We could have had Pigs in Space. Could have even had At the Dance. You could have gone for the Muppet Houses if you were feeling like a deep, deep cut. But then it's like, what would be like our best shot? And I 100% think the Muppet Labs was the smartest. Because as much as like Fozzie and like the Pigs in Space and Chef are like iconic, I really do think the ones with the most like star power in terms of Muppet recognizability are Bunsen and Beaker. And
I agree with you.
selfishly, not just for me, but selfishly on behalf of our boy Weirdly Marty, I was kind of hoping that they would do a full-on Muppet Lab sequence. I can't even lie to you. A
Shout out
full,
friend of the podcast who has made great art for the podcast.
oh yeah, artist of the podcast, wonderful friend of the podcast. But like, then it's kind of finger curling on the monkey's paw a little bit because we want to talk about Muppet Labs, but there's been shows that have sought to really botch the characterization of Bunsen and Beaker and their dynamic. Not gonna name any na sorry, I'm feeling a tickle in my throat. Muppets now. Excuse me. Muppets now. Sorry, I had a really, really bad tickle in my throat just then. But yeah, certain Muppet properties have really kind of not understood the Bunsen and Beaker dynamic at all. But I really feel like we're in a Muppet Labassance. This was like back to basics, and it didn't just feel like needlessly cruel. It was like, yeah, Beaker gets harmed, but like I don't know, it was slapsticky and it didn't feel like mean-spirited. It was just
Yeah,
Bunsen being like an absent-minded like dickhead essentially, not too much on your boy. But yeah, it was just like it was fun and like the physical slapstick comedy of Muppet Labs has always been one of its strongest points. And they really nailed that here. Like they got it. Like the eyeballs popping out, that was hilarious. Bunsen being just like absent-minded, like going through his like overdue mail. Like yeah, like they got it. They got it.
I really, really enjoyed the Muppet Labs segment. I think it was such like, I think a lot of the criticism that has been thrown towards Muppet Labs as an old sketch from the Muppet Show is that Beaker's just a fucking dick. He's just a like psychopath taking out all of his rage on Beaker. Not like rage, but you know what I mean. He's just like
Yeah.
inflicting crazy pain onto this poor, poor puppet. But I feel like their dynamic has never just been that. I think there's actually like we're gonna have a whole episode about Bunsen and Beaker and their dynamic and such like that. But I really think that they are one that people overlook and one that is like such an essential core part of the Muppets. And like as you said, a point that you brought up was that like we could have had more Fozzie, could have had more Pigs in Space. I think that like if we get a full show, that's gonna like my appetite. I have appetite for that. Like that's gonna
Mhm.
only get my anticipation's only growing from here. So I'm not too disappointed because I'm like really like I really think we're gonna get this full show. But like I could have gone for a little more Fozzie, but I do think Fozzie had a good amount of time in there. I wasn't too upset about that. And so like for Muppet Labs to kind of like have that little segment where the eyeball thing was pretty funny. It led into the other thing with Maya Rudolph, which was great. And like I loved seeing the Beaker puppet like light up with the eyes when it jams it into the thing. Like that's just classic Muppets. It like it's something so simple as just like a Muppet's eyes lighting up is so fucking like it hits. It's so perfect.
It reminds me of when Gonzo got electrocuted in Muppets from Space. That's like
Literally.
immediately what it made me think of, which was like another like that sort of Brian Henson era of the Muppets. That was another like really good sort of like point in time for the Muppets. But yeah, just like that classic Muppet slapstick, even just like little details, like the little opening jingle and the clock like hands bouncing around. It was just like wow. Even like we talk so much about attention to detail in this, but it was like Gonzo's opening fanfare and like and the little opening jingle for Muppet Labs. Just like little things that like realistically they could have skimped on if they wanted to. But for like diehards, like I saw Marty talking like a week in advance about how he was like, I really hope that they do like the original opening jingle from Muppet Labs. And they did it. Like that it's clearly for like diehard fans. Clearly so much of like the extra detail that they put in this was for diehard fans. And I think that and there's one extra detail in the Muppet Labs sequence that I'm gonna rattle off in my end list of like favorite details. But there's something in there that I didn't catch on first watch, but on second watch I noticed it and it made me a little bit emotional. But
I'm
just like,
excited to hear what that is.
oh, I got some fun like little tidbits to rattle off at the end. I'm excited. But
I was
yeah,
going to say I have a few tidbits as
Muppet
well
Labs
that
was just
I'm going to hit that as
was
well, I think.
oh yeah, we got tidbit time at the end for sure, for sure, for sure. But like just an absolute triumph, Muppet Labs. What like a fun segment. And honestly, the best like sketch to revive they could have gone for, I think.
I think so too. I think like, I enjoy some of the late earlier Pigs in Space sketches sometimes are ones that miss for me a lot. I think it got better later in the Muppet Show. But I think I agree with you there that Muppet Labs was like the perfect choice to go back to because like it's so like it's clean classic like slapstick comedy when people like everyone is laughing at that shit. You know that scene in Muppets 2011 where they're like just jamming up Jack Black and they just cut to like all the TVs of all the different generations of people that are enjoying the Muppets. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's how I feel with this freaking Muppets Labs thing. It's like, and Beaker was in that too. So it's like, it's basically we're getting the same vibe here. People love this kind of shit. And I'm so excited that they brought back Muppet Labs in that capacity. I would have been I think out of any of the sketches, because like you brought up all of like pigs in space and like even like harkening back to like the Muppet houses. There's so many Muppet Show sketches that they did, but I think Muppet Labs would have been the one that I would have been most disappointed to miss out on. So I'm like
Yeah.
very happy that we got that back.
Because
Like that with pigs and wigs is perfect.
because like relegating Bunsen and Beaker to background Muppets to me would have been a travesty. Like Pigs in Space could have been like a safe one to go for, or even Swedish Chef. But I'll be honest with you, I think we need a bit of a break from Swedish Chef just
Too
because
many
like
YouTube videos.
I've been so thoroughly underwhelmed by some of the stuff they've done with Chef lately.
Dude, the
Particularly like not
YouTube
to
king.
I think we're gonna do a whole episode where we just like get really mad about it and review the entirety of Muppets Now, but and talk about
Dude,
it. But like the chef stuff they did in Muppets Now, I would just like I just need a bit of a break from you.
we got
I
we
just
gotta
need 5
chill. We gotta
minutes.
chill with the chef for a bit.
I just I'm not leaving you. We just need to have a break.
I don't hate. He's a good guy. Like I like him. Like he's good. Like I'm talking like I know him personally. Like he's a chill dude. But I
Yeah.
just like I think you're right, and I think they made a good call with Muppet Labs. And here's the thing: when you see pigs in space in the background, like you see Link and you see like Doctor Strange, Pork, all just chilling in the background in their outfits. There really wasn't a part of me that was like, fuck, dude, they're just sitting in the background. I didn't get to hear Muppets, Pigs from Space, like Pigs
I
in Space. Jesus Christ, mix it up with the title of the movie. But I was not really disappointed because I really felt that seeing them was enough, and getting Muppets Labs was a very great way to like go back to the original show. And I feel like we just that combination was enough for me to get like very emotional and nostalgic. And really, I feel like they brought Muppet Labs back in such a modern way. And I'm really happy about that. Like, I don't think I have no criticisms with this section as well. I just feel like this one was like very well done. I think the puppets look great. I really love the new build on the Beaker puppet. I just think it looks phenomenal.
yeah.
I love how it leads into the Maya Rudolph bit where she like dies from it. Like the fact that Maya Rudolph like almost fucking basically fucking dies from a Muppet Lab sketch. It's like, dude, Bunsen, that was so close, man. That's the closest you've been. You put Beaker in some tough situations where you almost killed someone, Bunsen.
I just like yeah, I just really enjoy like cause and effect sketches where it's like something happens in the sketch and it affects the running of the rest of the show. Like gosh, what I like just the eyeballs being around, just like obviously the Maya thing. And like there's like little background bits that happen with the eyeballs with like the other Muppets. It's just very fun. And then Zoot at the end doing the ending note and then like an eyeball shoots out of his saxophone.
I
Like
love
just
it.
like I love like cause and effect like that where like and like the Gonzo bit where he's just like going around and like he has a direct effect on like the running of the show. I love when like the sketches have like a real tangible effect on the running of the rest of the show.
Oh, I so agree. Like some of my favorite Muppet Show episodes, like I think of like my favorites, like Liza Minnelli and Loretta Lynn. Like Loretta Lynn has the bit where Gonzo and Kermit are on the train tracks, and they're like get doing that, like, you know, that those hand cards that
Yeah,
you
the big like
pump.
the pumpy things, yeah.
Yeah, they're on that trying to get, and that's like throughout the whole sketch, and them trying to get back to the station is like part of the entire thing. Liza Minnelli, all the Muppets getting stabbed and killed off is like running throughout the entire thing. You know, even if it's small, even if it's not like a gigantic part of the plot, I like these running little gags. The payoff is so funny to have Seth Rogen at the start get cut and then be at the end just be like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe like
Mhm.
they let that armadillo in. That's not even canon. I can't believe this. Like, I enjoy that this special really I feel like the writers really nailed that feeling in the Muppet Show where you kind of like just got to live in that world for a second. And I feel like when you're living in that world, you can't just like speed through jokes and like forget everything that happened before because you're like I feel like you're going through the day of Kermit. You're going through like what would Kermit write in his diary for like how the day went. It's
Mm.
like you see that start to finish, and he's like, and that fucking thing from before came back, and then like Gonzo came back on his skates, and I just like I can't believe it's like cut like the way I feel like the pacing of the Muppet Show is like the way Kermit would describe the events of his day to his therapist. It's like the show started, but then like the guest got stuck and got ate by the monster, and then it was a good song, great song from Robin, but Jesus Christ.
I love the idea that Kermit's therapist just has like a book of like notes from their sessions, but it's all just like the scripts to Muppet Show episodes.
No, literally,
I enjoy
literally.
that. But I think one of my favorite like classic Muppet Show like cause and effect sketches things is like early on in the episode for Elton John, there's like the Swedish Chef segment, and it ends with him like not being able to, he's like chasing a chicken with a butcher knife. And then in like three or four other sketches throughout the rest of the show, like the punchline is just Swedish Chef running through the sketch and like interrupting it. Like the pigs in space one in that episode is like, oh, we're being boarded by an alien. One of them is very scared and has feathers, and the other one is speaking in some strange Scandinavian tongue. And then the door opens and it's Chef chasing the chicken through the like the swine track.
Dude,
I
that's like
love
my favorite one.
I love just like I love it when the sketches have an effect on the rest of the show, and I think this one did it really well as well. It's not my favorite one, but like per se, but I think the eyeball stuff was really great, and they clearly
Like,
enjoyed doing the eyeball stuff. They enjoyed it enough to make merch out of like a stress ball eyeball. They were like, that joke is going to work. So
every
help us God.
I think it's like they designed this new Beaker puppet with more Muppet Labs intensity in mind. Like if we get this full show, it's like the fact that they have the detachable eyes from this Beaker puppet. I think it's gonna be like if we get a full show, I hope they really go in on more Muppets Labs because that would just be like not only very entertaining, but I think it was like just seeing it from this special and like if we're treating it like a backdoor pilot, I was like this is one of the most like on the nose perfect representations from the original show but like still looking very modern and like very well translated to our era. Like I feel like this is one that like crossed over very well. I think if they were like doing Pigs in Space, and no hate to that sketch because there's ones that I really enjoy, like the Elton John one is hilarious. I think if it was just like, you know, them fooling around in space a little bit and like doing the voices and like maybe being a little mean to Piggy. I think Pigs and Wigs covered a lot of bases for a lot of the old Muppet Show sketches. Not that we can't do them in the future, but I think Pigs and Wigs and Muppets Labs really kind of hit the nail on like what we needed out of like the classic Muppet Show sketches. Like combining that with Sabrina Carpenter with the chickens, which is my favorite part of the special, and the Rizzo blinding lights. And like I just think I think it was fantastic. I think we have like a great mix of musical numbers, of sketches. Obviously it's a variety show that's bound to happen, but I think the ones that they did were quality. The ones they chose to do not only like showed the show the old like painted a picture of the old show very well and like could introduce it to a new audience in a very easy way. It was very accessible. I think the show was like super accessible for all audiences, but also was very like adult and you can really connect to it and everything. And like there was hilarious jokes throughout. I'm really excited. I'm happy about this special. Like I'm so I like you know we've been saying it a lot in this. I think this whole podcast and my opinion on it could just be summed up by like I just enjoyed the fuck out of this thing, man. It's really good.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, all of those sentiments that you just sort of rattled off, I think can definitely all apply to what I feel was a real highlight of this special.
I'm
It
so
was,
excited to talk about this.
it's one of the most like reminiscent of like Jim era Muppets things that we've got
Yes,
since his passing
dude.
was Islands in the Stream. I
Yes.
knew Sabrina was going to be doing music on this, and I knew they were probably going to give her more than one song. I was a little terrified it was just going to be like her music the whole time. But like doing a classic cover and of Dolly, that alone is
Beautiful.
insane. A cover that starts as a duet with Kermit, which like I'm sorry, is Matt Vogel's best like vocals as Kermit.
Yeah.
That
I
was his
will.
best singing as Kermit was
I,
Islands in
I
the Stream.
I really cannot agree with you more. This dude, Islands in the Stream, so so good. Obviously, like doing a Dolly Parton song is already gonna make me very emotional. But to have this gorgeous, gorgeous, fantastical set with Kermit in there, with Sabrina in his adorable little outfit, and
His
Sabrina. Oh
outfit.
my God, the costume. Sabrina looks gorgeous. She looks so amazing. And like Matt Vogel's Kermit performance in Islands in the Stream is phenomenal. It literally like I need that on all streaming platforms right now. I really just
Now.
like I was so blown away. I literally like I after like I think on my third watch I started crying when I watched that because I was just like, dude, it's just it feels like we're so back like that we are able to see like this gorgeous set that was so beautifully practically built. Like, oh my God, my favorite part of this, like I and obviously we have so much to talk about like with like the next part of like the there's a lot to get into with this, but my favorite part of Islands in the Stream with Kermit and Sabrina Carpenter is the fact that they have the snakes and that they have the fish and that they have all of the birds and they have all of these little Muppets that like that's like so harkens back to like Elton John and all these sketches where it's like that is the magic of the Muppet Show to be able to have like it's just like accepted. It's just like yeah, we have the fish, we got the snakes, and that's part of it, and it adds so much to it. And I'm so excited to hear Will's thoughts on that.
That is exactly the point I was going to make. The tradition of making whole, uniquely designed, gorgeous puppets for one singular number is a time-honored Muppet tradition. And I am so glad that we got that because, like, when are they ever going to use those flowers again? Sure, you can get use out of fish, but like swamp and pond flowers, that has one purpose, and it was this number. And to me, that's beautiful. I don't consider like one-off puppets a waste ever because like I'm sure they'll find some way to reuse them. But
Yeah, they reuse Vendaface.
it's like that's beautiful to me. That like I like the snakes and birds and fish, it's conceivable they could have been used in other like Henson projects before. But just the idea of them having like an entire swamp cast of like unnamed Muppets that are purely there for just like fleshing out the set, which is a really nice set, by the way. Really
Gorgeous.
good.
The best. One of the best sets they've done in like an incredibly long time.
And just like as you said, the Kermit's little costume makes me bawl my fucking eyes out. Like his little vest.
It's so Mississippi Swamp Kermit.
I
It's
know.
so like, oh,
He's so in his roots and like just this was the moment for me that was like, yeah,
we're
yeah, we
there.
made it.
We're
We fucking
fucking
made it.
back. We're home, bro.
It's the thing for me is that like because obviously I'd grown up a lot more with Jim and with Steve. And so I've cried over their Kermit plenty of times. The second you can make me cry, you are Kermit the Frog to me.
Yep. On
Crying my
that,
fucking eyes out
absolutely.
at Islands in the Stream. Vogel, you made the cut. You made me cry. You joined the
Not
frog
that you
ranks.
needed my approval, but like
I was gonna
I
say, like,
fucking
our opinion is arbitrary. We're just guys on the internet fucking yapping what we think.
yeah.
But to me, it's
We're
like you like I will you put yourself out on the line, and I appreciated it.
I
You
think
made
you
me
fucking
cry. You had me crying over Kermit the Frog again, which is something that I haven't done with new Kermit content for years.
it's
You made
been
me cry over Kermit the Frog, and for that, I commend you.
It's been an incredibly long time since I've had a Kermit performance where I've gotten this emotional, where this, like, the singing was so beautiful, the costume work, this gorgeous set. Because my favorite thing about the Muppet Show was that they would build these magnificent sets for these like one-off sketches, as Will was bringing up. But like the fact that like we've seen swamp sketches in the Muppet Show before, and so much Muppet content of Kermit singing in a swamp. But this one, like what the Muppet Show is so incredible and all, and like I love it. Like I love it so much. But what a modern Muppet Show can do, and like what we can get out of a full series that this special proved, is that the modern like practical effect technology of building a swamp set that's so beautiful with the lighting and like, oh my god, the way they were able to do the camera angles and all of the different like all of like the fog work and all, and like my favorite like all of like the little like fish and like the snake, like that's so like when Elton John did Crocodile Rock on the Muppets, he had all of the crocodiles singing, he had all of the fish bubbling around, and like to have Sabrina Carpenter go back to that, for her to do the chickens, to have all of these like little like silly puppets in the swamp, it feels like, and when people take that seriously and they don't treat it as just like this full joke, it's just the most beautiful thing. And it just feels like we're all just like, it's like, I feel like it's a beautiful, when that stuff happens, it's a beautiful celebration of our own humanity, because we can all get around and just like, like fuck it. The frog, he's like, I'm here to see the frog and the fish, and it's wonderful, and we're all here together, and it makes me very happy. And I also, a small little detail, this has nothing really to do with the sketch, but whenever I see the Muppets in sketches where they're doing like singing in a swamp and they have random one-off like gold, like they have like the fish and the snake, I always like to think like, how is Kermit booking these? Like, do they live near the set? Does he know them from the swamp? Is it like a thing where he's just like, yeah, we need to find like three fish and I need to book them, or Scooter's booking them or something. I
They're
always
like
think
his
that
day
when I see
oneers.
sketches.
They're like his like fucking classmate. If I can get my word out, they're like his classmates or something. They're
Like,
like
yo,
they're
Lenny, I
from
need a fucking deal, bro.
yeah, they're like his locals. They're from the dudes back from the swamp. I love it.
And
And
Sabrina
it's shit like that
killed
you
it in
never
this.
conceive of that. Like, what's the casting call for like five or six Muppet flowers? Like,
Yeah, right.
where do you put out ads for that? I assume like Kermit just has like a directory of like Muppet performers like on
Yeah,
dial and it's like for specific purposes. Like, are they in a union? Is there like a SAG-AFTRA for Muppets? I'm
I would.
curious about this. You've piqued my curiosity about this. What's like the who's the union representative in the
Yeah,
Muppet Show and why is
yeah,
it Scooter?
yeah. Local 618 chickens represented by Scooter. It's gonna be like a very like, I think, my take on this is that the chickens are absolutely unionized. I think the rats are unionized as fuck. I think they were the first ones to unionize, and I
Oh, for
think,
sure.
I don't think Kermit's a benevolent boss. I think he probably was just like, okay, like,
I mean,
I'm
he clearly
sorry.
has no sense of scheduling at all because he like was so flaky in terms of like approving acts, and so now there's just like a billion and one acts. But like, I like the idea that like every now and again he gives like new Muppets their big break because I can't imagine there's much like work for like a singing chrysanthemum outside of
Yeah.
like one-off bits in the Muppet Show.
Yeah, I love that it's like the Muppets are such a community of giving like all these misfits and all of these people and all of these like creatures that like don't usually get a chance to shine. It's like the Muppet Show just gives that. So it's like I like to
And
think that like Kermit is like, yeah, I it's like I love when a creative person is able to like platform all of these other people and like use their power and influence to be able to like give other people stuff. And even though it's just good like fish and frogs and freaking snakes singing, it makes me get emotional about like what the like what these this community means and what these like Muppets
yeah.
are doing, and it makes me really happy.
And that's why we need the show to continue so we can keep getting like out of work and like unemployed and like underemployed Muppets get their
Yes,
like their SAG after a fee, get their like get
dude.
their standard pay, get their insurance for SAG after, like just
Walter
get some
did
work
not
in
get a
for
check from
them.
this special. Walter is like, he hasn't got a check since 2011.
No, literally, he's got no health insurance. Bless him. I just hope he doesn't get like injured.
Yes.
But like, obviously, goes without saying, when you got someone like Sabrina on vocals, like obviously she delivered
This,
hauntingly beautiful vocals. Like, there's a
uh,
reason that she's tight with Dolly. There's a reason they did a song together, and they're like this. They're one and the same.
you
Like
know,
I was
I
really hoping
cannot.
we were gonna get Sabrina do like a classic song, but like Islands in the Stream is such a beautiful song, and she and Kermit were so just like, like it really strikes a chord deep in within you. There's something deep inside in the human soul that it like speaks to in a way that I can't quite describe. But it's like one of the most beautiful voices of our time, harmonizing with Kermit the Frog, who is kind of harmonizing in a really beautiful way as well.
Incredible,
But
and
that's just
taking it Sabrina's taking it 100% seriously. I just want to point out, which makes me so happy.
absolutely, like, obviously it devolves into like a little bit of a joke, but largely it's very sincere. And we've talked before about like in our particularly our family Christmas episode, where it's like the idea of like Muppet like heart needs to be earned. It can't just be shoehorned in. And I feel like because we had such like a really hot streak of comedic like beats throughout the whole thing, when you get to something really sincere like Islands in the Stream, it kind of does catch you that little bit off guard because it's like we've had funny sketch, funny sketch, funny sketch, funny sketch, funny sketch, funny sketch, genuinely beautiful musical number that's a little bit funny, and then ends with like ultimate wish fulfillment for Muppet fans, like the Sabrina and Piggy duet. That was something that like everybody was secretly hoping would happen, and then when it actually happened, it was like this is like obviously we expected this to happen, but now it's happening in front of our eyes. It's just ultimately wish fulfillment, and it was
I
so beautiful.
totally agree.
And then just having them like just like have a little chat after the curtain fell, after like the curtain fell, and Sweetums is like packing up the set, which I've always been curious about. Like, how do they prepare the stage for like the next number? And it's like immediately after the curtain falls, like all of the Muppets are just like shuffling off
Yeah,
stage, and then Sweetums is coming and like dismantling the set, and
it's
they're
like
like taking
that's
down the painted backgrounds, and it's like
it's
just a fun little bit of
very
like world building.
it's cute world building that I really have always wanted to see out of the Muppet Show. We get that kind of with like Hilda and stuff and George and Pops and things like that. But I
Yeah.
like to see the Muppets doing that. But there's so many things that you brought up that I need to like, oh my God, dive
Let's
into here.
okay. Let's go.
Like
Let's do a little rewind on it. Well,
I
let's
got
talk
a
about
story
this because we could
here.
talk about this number forever, to be honest.
Sabrina's voice. And I brought this up before in the podcast that I really this is the first time I ever heard Man Child. I never really like listened to Sabrina Carpenter that much in the past. And getting to hear a Dolly Parton song where I'm a massive Dolly fan and getting to hear Sabrina's angelic, gorgeous voice, I'm such a fan now because like holy shit, she was like bringing the vocals and like we have seen incredible vocal performances on the Muppet Show, and obviously there's incredible recordings and like there, but the modern with modern technology and like the Muppet recording studio and like a 4K camera and shit is like obviously going to sound incredible. But like if you're comparing it to so many like songs and like performances in the Muppet Show, dude, this is really up there for me because like the set's fantastic. The singing is incredible. Kermit's harmonizing with Sabrina is phenomenal. It made me so emotional when you talked about striking like an emotional chord and like what that felt like. I was just so blown away because it's we've talked about before. It's been a long time since we've gotten like a true, like passionate, heartfelt Kermit performance where he gets to take the main stage and like it feels like they gave such a beautiful rendition of something classic, but then really brought a beautiful modern thing that like no one else could do besides someone like Sabrina. I don't know her that well, but after the special, I'm like, holy shit. Like I
Mm.
could not like that was an incredible thing that I could not imagine anyone else doing. And like I am very excited because we've talked about the set, we've talked about Kermit and Sabrina harmonizing, we've talked about the incredible costume work, but then Miss fucking Piggy shows up. Miss Piggy, our favorite, I love her. Like the fact that they went full back to that like classic, like it's not that I think they have sometimes flanderized Piggy in the past as just being like narcissistic. Like sometimes in the 2015 show, it was just like she was so I have to be on the screen, have to be on the screen. But this didn't feel like this. This felt like Kermit didn't communicate well, that she was cut from the show, and then she was like so deep in it, and she was having this long running bit with Sabrina. And like seeing Piggy come out, that was such an incredible, incredible moment. I was so blown away. And like Eric Jacobson's performance as Piggy and the way that he was able to harmonize with Sabrina, ah, fucking amazing. Both incredible performances from both puppeteers.
I think that's a really good point about Piggy because as much as I am a 2015 enjoyer. I
I
kind
love
of
it.
like it for what it is. Whereas like I do have valid criticisms of it, but I do like it for what it is, and I find it very entertaining. I think that probably one of my biggest criticisms of it is the characterization of Piggy. And
Hmm.
I think that's something that they have been steadily getting better at. I
I
feel like the
agree.
point that she's at now, because it's still like when you talk about Piggy's like character arc, where she's been at in her career, like post becoming a movie star, she's kind of sort of like become more and more and more of a diva that kind of really peaked in the mid 2010s. She's kind of at her most self-centered, most mean-spirited. I
Yeah.
can't say that I really like. Which, like,
I,
obviously, I'm an advocate for evil women, but but like that's not my girl, and I feel like the point that they're kind of treating her character at now, there is still residue of that, but they're definitely getting a lot less mean-spirited with it because it's like, yes, she is a globally recognized icon, and that goes to a person's head, of course, but I feel like she's being a lot less like cruel with it. I
yeah.
feel like the way that her and Kermit have been interacting lately is like increasingly interesting and is definitely like obviously we're going to talk about Kermit at some point. We're going to have an intense discussion about Kermit.
Oh yeah.
But the dynamic that Kermit and Piggy have right now in terms of like their relationship is definitely the most similar to their dynamic in the original Muppet Show that we've had, just a little bit less misogynistic,
Mm, mm.
which as somebody, oh, I want Kermit and Piggy to be together so
Same.
badly.
We're on the same page fully with that.
But the point that they're at right now, I'm all for it. I'm all
See,
for them not being in a relationship, but they have a rapport, but they are clearly still like non-committal into each other. Like there's been like press junkets and bits. She still like wants to be in a relationship with Kermit. And Kermit has like posted about how much he like loves Piggy. And so they're just like dancing around it
cute.
now. And they're in that kind of like honestly, they're being very modern in that they are in a situationship,
I was about to say this is a Kermiggy situationship, and
which
like
is an unexpected turn, but
which
comedically one that I'm not going to turn down.
I don't disagree with you at all because like I think if you want to modernize the Muppets, they could have leaned into that really, really heavy. You know, they could have done that heavy-handed as fuck. But I think the way that they're dancing around it, it really harkens back to like how they were treated back in the day as real celebrities. And they're still kind of treated like that now, but not to that same degree. And to have kind of that like oh, we're like together kind of, but like, she's like someone that I've known forever and I love her and we love each other, but we're not like actually together and stuff is like a really modern spin on it that I
Mm.
enjoy really incredibly. There's a Hollywood couple, not to like make this about like real life celebrities, but like the way that BJ Novak and Mindy Kaling have like for the last like 2 decades been like, yeah, I don't know if we're together, but like are always like, it's always been like a thing that they're like clearly have like it's like a long running
Yeah.
thing. And so I think Kermit and Piggy really do that. And I know so many fucking people that have been in long standing situationships that have like, taken big parts of their life and shit. And have these people that have like become huge emotional like parts of them even though they don't end like even if they don't end up together it's like a very modern thing that I see all the fucking time in the city and like I think that getting a Kermit and Piggy relationship obviously well said we're going to have a big Kermit discussion at some point
Yeah.
but I think that Kermit and Piggy's relationship, I want them to be together so bad. Like I love them together. But like I I really think that like they are always sticking to this characterization of Kermit, being non-committal. And I like that this is a modern take. But like, I think that like I'm really happy with this spin, but I'm excited and I'm happy that they didn't just go back to like a full like, we're not together, Piggy. Like, a full just like we're not doing this
Yeah,
or
it's
like
like Piggy is obsessed with him, and Kermit's like, "Ew, get away, pig." They are both as non-committal as each other now. They are,
I
and you know
love that.
what? That's equality. That's feminism.
And it does.
It's being just as non-committal as your like male love interest.
Here's the thing, it doesn't feel as like shitty as when Kermit would do it before, when Kermit would just be straight up like behind closed doors. That's like one of my biggest criticisms with Kermit is that like behind closed doors, he's in love with Piggy and talks about marriage and all of this shit, but then out in public he gets cold freaking flippers and he can't freaking do it. And I just like it really hurts so many times in classic Muppet projects when Kermit just cannot commit to Piggy. And the movies, I think, are so incredible, but they've really, like, I think, given people this idea that Kermit and Piggy just always wind up together. When, like, the reality of their relationship is that it's like it's up and down and rocky, like real relationships are. And like, I think there's like a like that Piggy and Kermit dynamic. Like even though they're doing this like kind of situationships thing, I feel like they were so ahead of the time with all of that shit. And like I really think now they're able to slide into a more polished version of what they were doing before. Not to say that stuff before wasn't great, but like it's like this is like a very nice way of like, okay, now there's like this modern thing that like people are doing in real life. That's kind of like what we were doing in the 70s with Kermit and Piggy. That we can like, oh shit, this is great. Kermit and Piggy just like situationship each other, be seen at red carpets, but like not actually confirm if they're fucking or dating.
It's a very modern take on what they were doing in the 70s, except it's just a lot less of that like 70s misogyny, which I'm always all for. But it's like, yeah, they have become that situationship right now that for all intents and purposes they should be dating, but they refuse to put that label on. And I know the entire Muppet Theater is so annoyed with them. I know they're pissing that entire company off. Because it's like, why won't you just like get back together? And it's like, oh no,
We
after
have a
like the
long
2010,
history.
oh yeah, it's a complicated history, but they're both into each other, but they both refuse to like put the label on it. And it's like, can we be real with ourselves?
Yeah.
But now they're both as irritating as each other, which is beautiful. I'm sick of having to be like, no, wait, my goat isn't washed about Kermit because now him and Piggy are like but they're both lame. And I
Yeah.
love that's my Kermiggy. They both are so just like they just need to sit down and talk about this, but they can't because they're running a
They're
show.
they're lame and they're anal and they're always getting on each other. And I think, as much as I love them together and I want them to be together, I'm not going to act like I don't love the dynamic of Kermit and Piggy just having this like back and forth. Like that's one of the best parts of the Muppet Show. And if they just like kind of grew out of that completely, I would have been like that would have been disappointing. And it's like it's nice to have a thing where there's clear that there's still some love there and that there's like clear that there's this understanding that they're putting on the show together. They're like take it's like in 2011 when they had that thing where Kermit and Piggy were like, we're doing the show together. We
Mm.
don't have to like be together, but we're getting this done because we care about the Muppets. And then they have their heart to heart being like, I need you, I care about you. It feels like we picked up where we left off with that. Where it's
Yeah.
like they're not together fully. They're not in a relationship, but they've admitted that they really need each other in each other's lives. And then they're running the show together now. They're back with the original Muppet Show. They got the theater back. And they're like, you know what? We're running the show together. We have this understanding that we're like care about each other and we love each other and we need to be here for the Muppets. And we're just like, we're still getting into our old shit, but like we have this understanding that we're like, we're in a
Yeah.
better place than we were before. And it's like a really fucking like I actually think this special did a really beautiful job of showing the growth of their relationship. God damn! I
It
didn't expect that at all. That blew me away.
One of the things that I like outwardly said I wanted from this special was for them to address like Kermit and Piggy and like what their relationship status is. And I think they did that without doing it. which I
Yeah.
think was really smart because taking 10 minutes out of this special for them to have like a conversation about like
So
what
what
are
are
we?
we?
What? We said that at the same
So are
time.
so like
For
are
the
we like a are we like dating or are you like just using me?
I don't know, Kermit. I feel like we don't have time to talk about that right now, mon chéri.
You, you know, I actually had a rough childhood, so I kind of need you to communicate. This is like the worst
Like
guy.
a
Like
real
I fucking
frog. I just like you know what? Like I am happy with the way that they left it off. For another reason, because now they're not like officially together, but they're like in that will they won't they thing. You know what it allows for to tie back to the sketch? It allows Kermit to have romantic tension with guest stars.
yes,
But you know what else is going to allow for in the future? For Piggy to have romantic tension with guest stars, which
no,
arguably, not to be that guy, feel like we got both of that in one special.
yeah,
I know, listen,
yeah.
I'm
I agree with
sorry,
you.
but like Piggy and Sabrina doing a romantic duet, like I love gay people. I love
I
gay
love gay
people.
people. I love watching that and being like,
Oh,
oh my god,
shout
like
out to
freaking out
lesbians. We
about that
got the
as
messy Yuri that you have been craving out of the Muppets. We
I was about
finally
to
got it.
say, oh, give me some love triangle, some Sabrina Piggy Kramer love triangle. Like that's some shit I need. And like I really think that I fully agree with your point about like the opportunity to have them flirt with the guests. It's not that like I think that like a part of like my frustration sometimes with the Kermiggy relationship is that it's not like I don't like the 70s 80s flirting with the guest thing, but it's like sometimes they just were so heavy-handed with it and they made it in a way that like Kermit and Piggy just like were never like it's just like Kermit's just like denying her and then she's running around with the other guests and then she's getting jealous of Kermit doing the thing. This feels like such a more like you know what, we're kind of like we can kind of have our little tension, we can kind of do our thing. I really think that this special, especially getting like Kermit and Piggy all having that dynamic with Sabrina, I think it was a really beautiful and like kind of like modern and mature growth of their relationship while still getting to have them like getting their like funny banter back and forth and their funny bits with the guests. I love that.
Because like what Piggy had with Sabrina, no, what Kermit had with Sabrina in this episode, I want Piggy to have with like David Cornsweet. I want them to just redo Christopher Reeve episode, but with David Cornsweet, and she's getting like all hot and bothered about like the hot Superman with the big tits. Like I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
Oh my God, dude. Like, I need it's like because a thing that I love about Piggy is that she's unabashedly herself. She's beautiful. She thinks she knows fully that she is like a diva that doesn't like need to fucking like give a shit. She can just like go up and be like, yeah, like what's up? Like I'm Piggy, I'm into you. Like this is it. Like I think it's like a very bold. She's a bold like woman that knows herself completely. She like and
Mm.
like the fact that Piggy isn't like officially with Kermit in this, I don't think speaks anything like wrong of like their relationship growth because it shows that Piggy is someone that's not like she I feel like she kind of recognized some of the codependence when she had with Kermit in the sense that she's like, she's an independent woman. She can flirt with the guests a little bit. They
Yeah.
have their little thing on the side, but it's like, Kermit, you don't own me. Like I went to France. I fucking kicked the guy's ass when you in 2014. Like, I've been living my shit as like a fucking, independent woman, and I really enjoyed that out of this special.
I really like there's so much like clearly there's so many layers to peel back just in that one number alone that is like that's like a top three moment in this entire special for me.
Yes.
Islands in the Stream.
Islands in
But
the Stream is beautiful, and I love gingham chickens. I love Islands in the Stream. I love fish. I love snakes. I love the special.
and that could have been a really beautiful final number, but then it was like, okay, so they've got to have the big show-stopping moment. And
Yeah, we gotta talk about the ending here.
my heart stopped because I was like, are they gonna because it was clear they were building up to a moment where Kermit was gonna bring everybody out on stage.
Okay.
It was definitely building to that, and it was like still beautiful when they did it, but Kermit being like, "I've got it," when he's trying to like pick everybody's, and it's like it's definitely just gonna be
Yeah.
everybody. But it was like, oh my God, are we gonna do Rainbow Connection? I
Yeah.
don't know if I have any more of it in me because it is such. I hate to say it, but I think we need a break from Rainbow Connection.
I love Rainbow Connection. I think that we got the best way we could have done it in the special was how they did it at the start, where
Yeah.
they just like threw it in on that piano rendition. I really enjoyed that. That was very subtle, very nice. And like, here's the thing. I not that I felt that this ending was forced. I think, one of my favorite Kermit performances in this is like actually one of like the small when he just goes like quiet. Like I think Matt Vogel nailed that like very Jim Henson Kermit yelling at them when
Mm.
he's like frustrated and overwhelmed. And like I think there's been a good amount of like not like criticism because the special is getting a very great response like critically and like from fans, but like I've seen people say that like this thing has a very forced ending where Kermit gets on stage and he gives this like talk about like we need to like kind of like we haven't done this in a while but we need to get this and we have this like the love for each other and I not that I was agreeing with that fully but I was kind of feeling that a little bit with like the way they did it but then I had a conversation at like the bar here when I was like bartending with like one of my regulars that I love very dearly and she was like, I got so emotional about Kermit's speech. It made me cry. It literally made me feel so much like hope in the world about that we can have our communities together, that we can have so much love for one another. It touched my soul so deeply. And that moment was like, she's not like Muppet podcasting and doing all this shit, but
Mhm.
she connects, and that proves to me that just these people that I connect with and see on the daily in my local community are feeling that love and getting that message, and that proved to me that this I didn't feel. After that, I was like, I didn't feel this was very like heavy-handed. I think this was just very like beautiful, and I think it picked up from where 2011 left off again. And I really enjoy that. It's like I like the continuation, and I love that.
It's so like I understand the feeling that like that little ending sequence is just like absolute cheese. I do get it. But to me, that's what I've been waiting for from this Kermit. I've been waiting for a moment to show like the fact that he gets overwhelmed and he gets stressed, but ultimately he is a bringer of people together. And that
Yes.
little speech where he's like getting a little bit vulnerable on stage, that was another moment in this where I was like, that is Kermit. That is Kermit
Yes.
the Frog.
I
I loved it. I ate it up. I still get like a lump in the throat like watching his little speech. Even the shots where like the weird like full body shots where you can see him entirely
I
stood
love
up.
that. I
Even though
love
I
shit
don't
like
even laugh
that.
at those anymore. Initially, I was like, oh my God, because like if it's something that freaks me out about seeing him stood all the way up. But like, I don't know, the puppetry on that was like really, really and, like even when he's starting to sing and he's doing like his little hand gestures, I was like, wow, that's a really impressive like shot. But just like I get so choked up about his little speech at the end, and then it leading into "Don't Stop Me Now,"
Mm.
which obviously a million and one people have definitely commented on it by now. But it's just absolutely tongue-in-cheek and brilliant. The idea of the Muppets literally yelling at the screen, "Don't stop us now," because we don't
Dude.
want to stop at all. We want to have a good time. Don't stop us now. Like like yes, it was a great number, but like that was brilliant. And I think
I
the
like
speech fact I think this number and like Kermit's little speech kind of factored into it, the lack of certainty about this special. Where
yeah.
it's like because like if that was all that was gonna come of this Muppet special, then that's a really beautiful way to
Yeah.
end it. But if this is the start of something beautiful, then that's a really good way to start it too. I just
Yeah.
feel like there's no losing with that little speech. Like, yes, it's a little bit cheese, but I'm sorry. To me, it's thematically relevant cheese, and I will eat handfuls and handfuls of said cheese. I
Dude.
absolutely adored it.
Dude, one of the things about the Muppets, I like schmaltz. I'll take the fucking schmaltz. Like it's like
That's the
I'll
word. That's a beautiful word.
it's like
Schmaltz.
I'll take that emotional hits you right in like the chest. And like sometimes like yes, it can be just like a very forward. And like I understand if some people thought this was like a little bit just like they are quite literally grabbing the audience, screaming in their face, like, please don't stop us. We need to do more Muppets. But to me, after like having conversations with like other people about this and getting to sit on this for a few days, I've really thought about how not only the puppeteering in Kermit's speech is so emotional and so much of the heart that comes from Kermit, and that we've talked about like the emotion behind seeing Kermit and like what it takes to be that frog. I'm like, I thought it was all the emotions were perfect. I thought like his speech really hit, and it just made me feel so like, wow, this is Kermit giving an emotional speech in that same way he would do in classic Muppet projects. And I really enjoyed that. Getting all of the Muppets on stage was such an emotional thing for me that, like, obviously they're going to have a number where all the Muppets get together at the end. But to me, I want that. You know, that's shit I want. It's like, it's not like to me that they're just repeating everything. I like they had a great mix of new things, modern ideas, but then to just have a number or they get like everyone on stage and all the puppets in the audience sing. It's like for me, that's not just a like we're getting everyone together and it's like a very on the nose thing. Like yes, it is on the nose, but it's a feat of puppetry to have this many people on stage, on like crammed together, getting all of those puppets in the air. Like I really think when you have those big musical numbers of all the puppets together, it shows off the incredible work, and it's like it feels like a celebration of all of like the artistry and all of like the talent that went into it from every single artist that worked on this special. And I just like I will never, unless it's like I don't think there's been a time that I've like not enjoyed a Muppet musical number of just all of them together singing. Like I just love that shit, and I think the special did it well. And I like seeing Bean with all of these people. I like seeing all these background Muppets that I haven't seen in a long time. Like call me just like a hyper fan that's like getting fixated on tiny little things, but that's the shit I like, and I'm glad that it's in there.
I love playing Spot the Muppet. I don't care. I loved playing. It's that guy. It's that guy. It's that guy. I loved him. I love playing Spot the Muppet. But like the thing about this big emotional finale is that like it didn't feel unearned. It felt like it could work as like the start of something, but also as like, sorry, we tried to make it happen. This is a beautiful ending piece. But like the thing is, we get a full season or like a full couple seasons or just like a full Muppet Show revival, I don't think they're gonna do that every episode. I would like to hope that they don't do it every episode because it's like a big
Yeah,
emotional finale works for like it's been a while and we're bringing it back. Like that's why I like Rainbow Connection at the end of 2011 because it felt earned. It's like we haven't had Rainbow
yeah,
Connection in a while, and it was a beautiful performance where they brought everybody up on stage. But doing a different song, a classic song, a great song for 2026, it was like that really, really worked for me. I really don't feel like, yes, it was kind of like schmaltz, as you said, which is a
I love it.
fantastic word, tremendous word. Didn't
Uh,
feel like it was heavy-handed. It just worked for me. I know I
yeah,
keep saying it worked for me, but I don't have much more to say than like I dig it. I
I
dug
dig
it.
it.
And I just thought it was beautiful. I'm sorry.
That
I loved looking at like, oh my God, that's Johnny Fiamma in a Muppet Show musical number. Insane. And he's next to two Zucchini brothers.
I love it. I just think it's like if we get a full show, we can have so much more opportunity to get all of these different eras of Muppets together. And it's like a kid growing up in 2026 isn't going to know these characters inherently. But it's
Mm.
like when I was a child, when I watched The Muppet Show, I know, like, I don't know, we're very specific people kind of here, but like I would watch original Muppet Show stuff and I'd see all these background puppets and I'd go, like, who is that? And I would look up the episode and I'd look up and I'd go on Muppet Wiki and I'd like try to find out these things. I do it with all the interests that I had throughout my childhood. And so it's like, I think the Muppets, this special, and getting all of these different eras of puppets and what that opportunity brings is like, really getting that gateway to get more fans and get an accessible way of getting people back into the Muppets and getting those like Muppet fans are not just like a thing that has died off and gone away. It's like Muppet fans are still happening every single day. And it's like we're still getting that. And it's like the fact that they cared enough to put all of these like characters that we haven't seen in a long time together really makes me so happy because it gives like so much again accessibility to these like to see these puppets again and to get people talking and to get people like back and interested. And since we've talked about the end of the special, I just think that it's so like nice that we got to like rattle off and get a deep dive into all of the beautiful things that we enjoyed, all of the things that we had to say about it. But like Will said, he had a list of things, a list of like details
Dude.
and little things that happen, Muppet moments and such.
Muppet moments? Wow, if only there
That's
was
the
a
name of the
podcast that talked
podcast, I
about
think.
such things.
We talk about that.
Crazy. So I have assembled a little list of fun little details that I noticed in this. And obviously I've rattled off a bunch of background Muppets. So I'm not going to feature a tremendous amount of those here, but fun little details that I really enjoyed. And it's
Loved
okay,
it.
the first one on my list is one that I've said I'll talk about it at the end a little bit. But there's one, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, I could be missing out something, but there's two instances of such things. Props from Muppet Courtyard and Muppet Vision
Yes.
3D appeared in this special.
Let's
And the
talk. I
first
needed
one,
to hear this.
and the first one appeared in the hallway on the opposite wall to all of the portraits of like past Muppet Show episodes with the celebrities. On the wall, you can see it on the right hand side when Kermit's walking past Pops' little booth where he's asleep. You can see the plaque, a memorial plaque from Pizza Rizzo
Yes,
dedicating all of the winners annually of the pizza eating contest, which I is a detail that I loved when I went into Pizza
dude.
Rizzo. One of the things I loved about going to Pizza Rizzo for the first time was just scanning the walls and seeing a billion and one Muppet references.
Dude, like one of the things, like we'll have an entire Muppet Vision episode because that's something I want to get into and have like hours of discussion on. But like
Mm.
as Will brought up with Pizza Rizzo, one of the things that I loved about going to Muppet Courtyard when it still existed, rest in peace, is that you could just walk around and be engulfed in all these little Muppet details. And it's like just to have that, to have a space that really touched my interest like to that core, to get to see Emmett Otter references at a Disney park is like fucking insane to me. And like I love that they saved that. When Muppet Courtyard went away, there was like this talk of like what did they preserve? What are they auctioning off? What are something that they're just like throwing away? To have the Pizza Rizzo Muppet like employee of the month thing back that like I remember on the last day of Muppet Vision, and I'm sure at the like the time Will went, people were just taking so many photos of that and just seeing all these like tiny little Muppet references. It was just so like enjoyable to me to watch so many Muppet fans walk around and just like enjoy that and to see it return makes me so happy. And I would love to hear the next one because that makes me I'm so excited to hear what another one is.
Well, the fact about that first one is that it's not even really super visible. Like I saw it because I'm really annoying and like
Yeah.
autistic about this kind of stuff. But it's like not even like a main feature of the shot. It's a blink and you'll miss it thing. You have to be actively looking out for it really to see it. But the other one appeared like very face on in a few shots, and it was during the Muppet Labs sequence. There's a sign up on the wall that says Muppet Labs text only, and that was a little sign that was used to sort of like mark cast member only areas out in
So
Muppet
cute.
Courtyard. Specifically, the one sign that is like up on the wall is one that lets kind of like leads to an upstairs point adjacent to Muppet Vision, which is like one of the tech rooms, I think it leads to, or like one of the projection rooms, maybe. But just the fact that they wanted to preserve just those like even just like little props, like it wasn't crammed with props, but it was like it was those two, and then like the Pizza Rizzo sign and blinding lights. It was like there are just like little details that are being acknowledged here from a really important piece of Muppet legacy that it's like, wow, how special that they wanted to feature that, even just like as little background decoration points in this special. Just like how thoughtful.
And I want to be clear, like, and I think Will, I agree with Will's point so much in this, and I think Will would agree with what I'm about to say in terms of like the Muppet writers and all of the people who are behind the sets and the detail work behind this really just gave it their all. And it really felt like they assembled a team of people that really care and about the source material and about bringing it into a modern era in a way that's going to look gorgeous on like new screens and new like ideas for the Muppets. I just loved it. I think it was so fantastic that they had all of these like old references, but then still brought it to a modern era. And I think like, you know, Disney is such a corporation that is so not about giving people like what they really want. And they're so like, you know, we could go into all the criticisms of the Disney corporation, but I think it's like the artists, this is a pure example of where the artists shine through and where that the people that like are the humanity of people just making things that are joyful and about like love for each other in our communities. I just fucking love it. And I just think this as special outline that we can still do that with these Muppet projects. And I love all of the hands that went into this.
Just like the more behind the scenes like Instagram posts that we see from like cast and crew members and writers,
Yes.
just it's just like it takes a village, and oh my goodness, what a talented and like thoughtful village. What like just again, we can say it a million times. The amount of detail in this is staggering, and like they didn't need to do it. They could have gotten away without doing it,
Yeah.
but it just wouldn't have made this as genuinely like lightning in a bottle beautiful as it was.
You know,
And
yeah,
Muppet Vision stuff just added to that to me.
I agree.
My next thing on the list was details like Gonzo's original fanfare, the Muppet Labs clock, and the little
Love it.
jingle. The fact that they did like redid the whole credit sequence as well with like
Ah,
the band playing, and just like made a real distinct effort to like recreate like the shots for the intro. Just
can
like
I
the
say
little
it?
details of just like that little extra faithfulness, just to like those little things that harken you back to like doing Muppet Show marathons. It's just like those little things. It's like again, it's details. This is a special about details.
It feels lived in. It feels like the details were so on point, as Will just said. But I think that a point I was making with the whole like, we could get into Disney criticism and all that. I think what shined through about the artists behind this is that they put effort into the set in all regards of all of these small things. But then, like at a criticism I have with the special is that it starts and it doesn't say like Jim Henson's Muppets. It says but like the Muppet products by Disney or something like that. It's like a very corporate tagline that like really does not acknowledge Jim Henson. And I think it's like really speaks to the people behind this special that they were able to like slide in so much details of the original show that like even though you have that thing that I don't like at the start where it does not acknowledge Jim Henson, I think they were able to kind of do that with all of the detail that Henson put into the original show.
Yeah, like in spirit, those were Jim Henson's Muppets.
Agreed.
The next one I've got is something that I was hoping that they would do, and something that is like a staple of Muppet Show, is hard launching new characters. And there are three notable ones in this special. The armadillo and the tutu, which
Love
didn't
it.
really have anything to do except
Not
stand out
canon.
in background shots and give Seth Rogen fodder to deliver one of the best jokes in the special. I really hope we get to see some stuff out of the armadillo and the tutu because it was a fun Muppet design. And it's
Cute.
like
There's some.
and like a thing about the Muppet Show was just like they would just put in like Muppets that didn't have names, Muppets that didn't have purposes, put them in numbers or put them like in the background, just like fucking
Yeah.
around behind backstage. And to me, that was just a continuation of a beautiful tradition, having random ass Muppets and not just like look at that Muppet, look at that Muppet, look at that Muppet, remember them, remember them, remember them. I want to be seeing more of that. I want to see like the puppet designers and the puppeteers take creative liberties on
Yes.
new characters and have them take on new roles because like we can I will say that like in terms of since Disney acquired the Muppets, one of the best things they have done with the Muppets property is Walter, and he is
Yes.
so criminally underutilized.
Underused. And he's alive. Thankfully, we saw behind the
He's
scenes footage.
alive.
He's
He was
alive.
there.
Thank God he's
Um,
there. He was there. Thank
but
God.
it's like
Yeah.
we want more Walters. We do want
You know,
Walter, but we want more like it don't even have to be like main characters. Just like have them
yes.
be fucking around in the background, have them feature in numbers in little ways. But like I'd love to
Absolutely.
get more like fleshed out Muppet characters and not just like background snakes and stuff. Because as much as I love the background snakes, I want to see like Muppets that have something to do or that like have a
Yes.
bit about them or
Or
that have like a joke
personality to
about
them.
them, a personality. Like Crazy Harry is not an incredibly fleshed out Muppet, but we still get excited when we see him because we
Yes.
know he's going to do something because we know what he's like as a character and what he's like as a joke character. I want more characters like that. So
Yeah, I
Armadillo in the
totally
oh,
agree with you about all of these background Muppets and all of the Muppets that they could put in and all of that. I think one of the things that we've talked about is that the Muppet modern casts have not gotten the opportunity to really workshop new characters.
yeah.
Walter is a great example of one that was such like a successful time where, Peter Linz really got to take the reins and be able to get this beautiful character out. I really think that Disney has not given the Muppet Studios the opportunity for the puppet builders to build all new characters to just that shit they want to build in the same way that Henson was just like build things that you want, get these puppet designs and let the Muppet Workshop like really get their like all of these unique things out and to have a populated audience of Muppet background puppets that are random and new with also mixed in with all of these ones that from the past. It just felt very much like they mixed in that like thing of like grab a puppet from the box and let's make something new with our creative team. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful harkening back to all of that. I am really impressed with how they did it.
Absolutely. And that's what I want for Armadillo and Tutu. I want more screen time.
Give me more. You make him canon.
Another one that I really enjoyed that we have already talked about a little bit is Satay.
Yeah, Satay's great.
He, for his little bit of screen time, he kind of stole the show. I'm sorry, that
Really
little
great.
I've been burned before comedy.
Really
Like
funny.
it was so unexpected, but like in all of the watch parties that I've had, he's got like some of the biggest laughs. Just that, just like little random Muppet like nobody's ever seen before. Just like coming in and having a funny line. It's just so like nonsensical. But like I hope we get more appearances from him. I sincerely do,
I agree with you.
completely and utterly. And then low key, my favorite is one that even didn't he didn't even get a line. The little hat whatnot that
Yes.
Seth Rogen that just like pats him in the back. I fucking adore Muppet Studios and the all of the performers behind them because they didn't even get a single line, but there was so much just like warmth and character
Yeah.
in just like that little performance. Like the Muppet could have just been like sat next to him, just sort of like brushing off Seth Rogen, but just that little like pat of reassurance. He's got such a fun little design. Like it's so hard to make like unique whatnots, I fear.
Yeah.
But like that
And
was
I'm
a
glad they're
fun.
doing whatnots again. I'm glad that they're not just doing like the same shit that we are always. It could have just been a population of penguins. It could have just been
Yeah.
like an audience of every single one we know. But like, oh my gosh, that whatnot with Seth Rogen. I love the fact that Seth Rogen doesn't like blow him off or like just like is confused. He takes him seriously and
He's
gets the comfort from him. I love that shit.
Muppet comedy has always been at its peak when humans don't recognize the like absurdity of Muppets. Like
Yeah.
oh, I'm talking to a little fuzzy creature. Isn't that weird? It's like no, that's a person that I share the world with. This is a
Yes.
person that I'm sharing the stage with. That is where Muppet comedy has always been at its best. Not like oh, it's crazy. I'm talking to a little frog or something. And it's
Oh,
like
frog
oh,
hand.
could you not interrupt, please? Me and the frog are having a conversation. It's like, and just that little moment, it's like, wow, this is like the world of the Muppets. This is the world that they live in, and it was beautiful to me.
Couldn't
Just
agree
that,
more.
just that little whatnot patting him on the shoulder.
Adorable. What's the next
My
point?
next fun detail, I can't remember if we talked about it already, but pigs and wigs.
Loved it.
So we talked about it
We
being a
talked about
Bridget.
pigs and wigs.
Yeah, but there's a little detail in pigs and wigs that I don't remember if I
Oh,
brought
oh
up.
shit.
So obviously, it's a very understated Bridgerton parody. But the thing that I really enjoyed about it being a Bridgerton parody is that the little orchestra backing track it takes a seasoned listener to pick it out, but the melody was very similar, was very familiar to me. I recognized like the faintness of the melody, and I was like, "That is espresso."
Ah,
The backing orchestra in Pigs and Wigs was an orchestra rendition of Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter,
that's
which I
awesome. I
found
didn't notice that.
hilarious because not only is it like paying homage to like their guest star, but it's like also a Bridgerton reference, but it also wasn't like an overstated Bridgerton reference. And like we talked a little bit about Pigs and Wigs being like and its position as like a Bridgerton parody and how like it you didn't need to have like watched Bridgerton for it to be like funny. It was its own thing. And I want to compare it to a show that also released on Disney Plus in like the last year or so, that coincidentally, that did do a Bridgerton parody, and it was very clunky, and I didn't care for it. Even though I really liked the show and I grew up with it as a kid, I didn't like Disney's influence on it. And it did a Bridgerton parody that I really didn't enjoy, and it was Doctor Who.
Hmm.
Doctor Who did a whole Bridgerton parody episode, and they kept bringing up the fact that they were like, "Oh my God, this is like Bridgerton," like verbatim. They were saying, "Oh my God, like Bridgerton? No way, it's just like Bridgerton. Oh my God, I'm having a Bridgerton moment." Like,
What fucking
what
AI wrote that shit?
what happened to Salty? And I'll tell you what happened to it. The Muppets took it all, and they put it
The
in their
Muppets got
Bridgerton
it.
parody, their tasteful Bridgerton parody, and it's just little stuff like like if you're not listening out for it, you won't hear it. It's just like it's just orchestra backing track, but it wasn't like obnoxiously similar to Espresso, but it was like an orchestra-y take on Espresso, and I was like, that's fun. I
I like
really
that.
like that.
Really cute.
And it
What's
didn't
the?
take away from the rest of the sketch.
Yeah, no, I thought it was. I don't think. I mean, I didn't even notice that it was espresso, so I think it just
Most
felt.
people don't. I
It
didn't on
just felt
first listen.
natural.
On second listen, I was like, is that
Uh,
and then and I was like, that's
that's
espresso.
fucking espresso right there. God damn.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, what's the list looking like?
not very many left. The last ones kind of constitute little because like I've talked about how different points in the show, like in the in between points, I'm watching what's going on in the background. And there were a few subplots happening in this episode that I really enjoyed, and I'm going to rattle a few of them off to you right now. New Zealand definitely trying to like sell boomerang fish to like other cast members. He's like trying to do pyramid scheme shit with his boomerang fish. He's either showing them off or he's trying to sell them. Either way, he's like gathering a crowd around to like canvas boomerang fish to them, which is like that's so Lou. Another thing that I really enjoyed was like obviously there's like the bit with the eyeballs and like one of the main things we noticed Gaffer having one of the eyeballs over his eye patch toward the end, but like there's a bit where like Scooter's entering in to a shot and he's being like harassed by all the cast because they're like, "Where's my spot in the show? Where's my spot in the show?" And like Big Mean Carl is like hanging over the balcony and he just like burps up like 20 eyeballs
Oh
just
my
like
God, I
all
didn't
over
even notice
everyone
that.
underneath him. He's like immediately after the Muppet Lab sketch, he just like belches a bunch of eyeballs all over the rest
So
of the Muppet
funny.
cast. And then the last one is it's while Scooter and Piggy are like talking and like Scooter's just told Piggy that she's been cut from the show. Big Mean Carl is like kind of like interfering with all of the other Muppets that are like immediately in front of him. Like there's like Lou and Satay and like Manamana and the Snouts, and he's just kind of like rubbing his fingers over them and they're looking like very visibly uncomfortable. And then like just as like Piggy's walking out of shot, he like reaches down and like eats one of the Snouts.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's
I
just
didn't even
and
notice
it's
that.
like
Thank you for finding these little details.
and it was so blink and you'll miss it as well. But it's just like I love that like the Puppeteers were having fun in the background.
Yes,
It's
they got
so
some
Muppet Show.
opportunity to just do like silly fucking Muppet antics, and I love that.
It's so just the spirit of letting the Puppeteers like take creative liberties and have fun and make it feel populated while just like having their own like mini storylines going on in the background of like a
Could
big
not
mean
agree
Carl
more.
trying to pick which Muppet he was gonna eat while the main conversation was happening. Great. And then the last thing I have on my list is just it's a very like easy to catch one, but like in the little bit at the end where Kermit's like, and thank you to our special guest Sabrina Carpenter, and then like the bit that happens at the end of every Muppet Show episode where they all like come out and then like the credits start rolling. Um, Piggy and Sabrina are once again wearing the same dress, like
Oh
exactly the same
yeah,
dress. They just don't like draw attention to it in the dialogue. They just have like another thing where they're like, "Oh yeah," and Piggy's looking like very visibly frustrated, but Sabrina and Piggy are wearing the same dress.
I love it. I just think it's so like they could have skimped out if this Muppet special was bad, it would have been because they didn't go for all the details like that. And I appreciate seeing things like the piggy dress and all of the Big Mean Carl stuff. Like it just feels like they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah. And it's like we've kind of dissected every part of this show now and gone over every little tiny minute detail that we could talk about. And I think the reason that we were so keen to analyze this and to pick it apart piece by piece by piece by piece by piece is because there's so much to love from this.
Yeah, 30 minutes, but we can make that a freaking hours and hours and hours because I feel so much passion for a Muppet project that I haven't felt in a really long time. And I think there's that can't be understated.
And with the success rate that it's having right now, not even just like we're talking about it like a numbers game, like oh the ratings have been excellent. don't care about that, quite frankly. I mean, I do care a little bit about that because unfortunately the Muppets' future is entirely decided by committee nowadays,
Yeah,
and it's like the fucking greedy ass mouse needs to make sure that
yeah.
the Muppets
Oh,
can squeeze enough money out of them to make sure to keep making some more stuff. But culturally, Muppets are being talked about again.
yes.
Muppet content is being made en masse and being like widely accessed by the public.
Yeah.
People
This,
are like people who I know like IRL are coming up and talking to me about the Muppet.
yeah.
People who
Same,
are
dude.
like
At the bar tapping every night.
I go into my flatmate's place of work and like I like know all of his coworkers like a little bit. Like I've talked to them once before. And whenever I come to visit him at work, they're all coming up to me like, "Oh my God, what did you think of the Muppets?" And I was like, "I didn't know you knew ball. You had never talked to me about the Muppets before." And it's like, "Did you like the Muppets? Did you watch the Muppets? Oh, how many times did you watch the Muppets?
Dude,
Didn't you love the Muppets?" And it's like, we really, I do feel like are on the cusp of a Muppet Renaissance.
dude, I fully agree. I'm having all of those same conversations here in Seattle where I'm just getting all of these like people coming up to me at my place of work, getting to like have excited conversations about the Muppets. I think the fanfare is there. I think so much of like the clips from this have been going mega viral. I think it's just like I think we have something great on the horizon, and I think we are going to get this show. And like again, yeah, not to be just like ratings people, but like it has a fucking 98% on Rotten Tomatoes on the time of recording, and I think that's incredible. I think the critical response has been fantastic. I've never felt this much rumbling for a Muppet like renaissance in a long time. And I think we're about to get that. And I think we have picked apart every detail of the special, but I think the impact of this is already being felt. And I think it's going to continue and just be culturally a great moment from this year and give us hopefully a lot more Muppet projects.
It just feels like this is launching the Muppets into the pop culture conversation once again in a way that hasn't been done since the 2010s.
Yeah.
And it makes me excited. It makes me really excited because God, I hope that the Muppets become like a mainstream, popular, talked about, hot topic again.
Get Give
Like
me
like
celebrity gossip of Kermit and Piggy again. Thank
yeah,
fucking
like
God. I need
celebrities
that.
talking about the Muppets on red carpets. People talking about the Piggy movie, like the
People wanting to
hypothetical
be in
Piggy
the
movie.
Muppet Show. Like people, like I've seen great response to this. I think Piggy being such a diva in the modern era is contributing that heavily. We talked about the rumored Piggy movie that has gotten a lot of press as well. I just think that we are about to reach an era in which the Muppets are able to not only get back to their classic roots of the show, but like if like not to just be like naive, but like if we get like a Muppet movie again in the future, I think it's gonna have so much like great quality, and I think the special can prove that like we can do Muppets in the future. And if we're able to get shit back, I have a great feeling it's going to be good.
The message that I'm hoping that the Disney Corporation gets from this is that if you let the Muppet Studio take as much creative liberty as they can, because this does not feel like a Disney Muppet product.
Yeah,
This feels like
a Muppet Studios
this feels
thing.
like
It
a
feels like
Muppet Studio production brought to you by Disney.
yes, and that's how it should fucking feel. And I just feel that agreeing with you with like the lesson that Disney kind of should take away with this is that like the Muppets, like the care that has to be put into it, the detail, the love, the passion. That is what makes the Muppets special. It's like just throwing them on a green screen, just doing like half-assing some shit, giving them like lackluster funds and not giving them the opportunity creatively to write the shit they want to write, to build the stuff they want to build. Like it feels like, I think the Muppets are the most successful when they have the full ability for passionate people and passionate creatives to really just get into it and really just do as much as they can with it. And I think we got this with the special, and I'm very excited to what that could mean for the rest of the Muppets.
Yeah, like the less corporate intervention, the better. And that's the way that it's always been with the Muppets. The more
Yeah.
you allow talented, funny, like bright creatives to have their way with these timeless characters, that's when we get gold. And I feel like with this special, we got platinum.
I totally agree with you. I think coming to the end of this episode, I really
Mhm.
just feel very just at peace with how much Muppet like emotion I've been able to get recently. It's been a very, there's been a lot of ups and downs as any person's life can go. But I think getting a Muppet special like this, it feels so special and feels something that feels like I get something that's so beautiful to an interest that's my biggest in my life. And like I get to just watch this again and again. And like I think the rewatchability is so there. And I'm so happy with like where like what we got with this. I'm very pleased.
To like wrap up my feelings about it, as Max just did, I feel hopeful in a way that I've not felt about the future of the Muppets in such a long time. And so please don't let us down, please.
Please, Disney, Jesus Christ, don't fucking let us down.
6 seasons and 3 movies. That's
6 seasons and 3 movies.
6 seasons, 3 movies plus.
And a
That would
Disney Parks Muppet Courtyard revival.
Muppet Courtyard 2.0.
Even if it's
More
smaller, I just want Muppet Courtyard. I want to see that fountain again so bad.
more theming, bring the fountain back, better gift shop. We're
Boom.
not asking for much here.
We're not asking for much.
I know that this is the most listened to podcast in the world, so naturally
Exactly.
you're gonna take naturally Disney's gonna be hearing this and taking these into account.
Yes,
But
so
like,
we know that our audience is made up of Disney executives and guys who dress like Mickey Mouse in their free time. So like we fucking got the
of
audience.
course,
We
because that's
got the people.
that's really who this podcast is for. It's for corporate bigwigs who treat the Muppets like commodities. We're talking straight to you. All of these Muppet fans think that we're talking to them, but we're actually just talking to you.
We're just talking to you. Disney corporate bigwigs who are exploiting their workers. Give us more Muppets. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I feel like we've exhausted every single thought that we can possibly conceive of for this episode. So we want to thank you for listening to this extensive ramble about probably what will be my favorite thing that I watched this year.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, and we've got a lot of plans to talk about this year, but I think the thing that we're going to shoot for next is something not current. We're going to wind the clock back a little bit and watch something a little bit older, not topical. We're going for something vintage. Max, got any thoughts on that?
I'm very excited because I think part of the joy I get out of this podcast is we're able to just give each other Muppet experiences and things that like we're able to like I didn't know much about the hoops. I didn't know what the hoops were, and now I'm a massive hoop fan. I'm
Now
a
you're a hoop
huge
head.
hoop fan. I'm a massive Hubba Hubba fan, and I think I have really been wanting to get the opportunity to give Will a fantastic look into an American puppet program that's not like fully 100% puppets, but just like it has incredible puppets that has an incredible puppet performance and a puppet built by the Henson Company, and I'm very excited to get into it.
Are you gonna name drop it, or do you want me to?
Oh shit, yeah, it's Zaboomafoo. We're talking about Zaboomafoo
Zaboomafoo!
next time. Zaboomafoo!
Zaboomafoo special, Zaboomafoo
Holy
marathon
shit.
of
We're
some
back in
description.
around with the Krat brothers, guys. We're going to PBS Kids and we're with the Krat brothers and we're with that awesome lemur.
I'm so excited to delve into this world, but we're gonna have to save that for next time. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the Zaboomafoo flip side. Bye bye, everybody.
Ooh, bye. Thank you.